Okay, so before we even get over here, let's come back here to the center of the map. Okay, because we have to talk about mechanic that's going to happen a little bit later on. But we need to assign spots. It's my...
I don't have my glasses on. Oh, I'm right back.
Oh, that's not it. This one. Oh, why is this not drawing? Hello? Game? It's broken.
Restart your
hold.
computer. That fixes
God.
everything.
I did that before I left.
Oh, the 4.
Let's see.
I'll go take another nap.
Oh, here we go. Do that. Cool. Alright. So we're gonna do this. Okay. Now we're gonna take a look at this picture. By convention, there's going to be spots over here, over here, over here. Okay, that's one set of spots. Another set of spots here. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 1. And then finally we have 2 spots in the center, which I don't really have to draw, but we can make one of them blue and the other one, make one blue and then the other one red or whatever. Purple no, but pretend they're red or blue. Okay. The reason why we're doing this is because we have a mechanic. Where's my Discord? Here's a little 3-4 cheat sheet for us. And we'll just go this way. So we're looking at X. We're actually going to start with the X42 mechanic. Okay. And the red dots indicate starting positions. Okay. But I actually do like to change it a little bit, just to make things a little bit easier. It's like more or less preference. Basically there's 3 different shapes. There is going to be diamonds. Of course, there's going to be diamonds. There's going to be squares, and there's going to be stars. And there's going to be 2 people for stars, 3 people for squares, and 3 people for diamonds. Okay. And depending on your class, you might be limited in your options of where you need to go. I know that Shadowhunter can do stars, so Kaylyn can take one of them. Oko, Gunslinger usually takes stars themselves, so that you will also be assigned stars for this mechanic. Okay. More on that later. So, KO, I guess. I don't know. We'll just mark that off for now. Okay. There is squares, and basically, for the general idea for the mechanic, everybody's assigned a spot, and they have to kill 3 of their shape. Okay? And only 3 of their shape. If you happen to kill 4, you're gonna kill someone else. If you kill the wrong shape, you're probably gonna kill someone else. If you're stars and you mess up, you're gonna kill half the raid. Which seems, you know, pretty easy. You're just gonna kill whatever shape corresponds to what you either called or assigned. A little something to note: stars has the longest time to kill their shapes, but they also have the most health, so supports can never do stars. Okay. Instead, they either do squares or diamonds. Back when everybody was newer, all supports were assigned diamonds, but it kind of wasn't really fair for them because they would need to kind of cover maybe one. They could probably kill two diamonds really quickly. The diamonds actually spawn in last. They kind of spawn in waves. So stars will spawn in, and then maybe 5 seconds later, squares spawn in, and then after that, we have our diamonds. Okay, so they would have the least amount of time to kill their stars, or to kill their shape, and more often than not, they would have to toss a grenade to deal with one of the shapes. The grenade will insta kill a shape, but having to toss an item is like kind of meh. So, if supports were gonna do any shape, they could do. Usually, they get the top one and this one down here, because these guys kind of spawn in later compared to the even this one. I think this one's actually the hardest one, I believe, but I don't do this anymore. I don't do diamonds anymore. I always do squares. Be very mindful of your, just in general for everyone, be very mindful of your attacks. Diamonds are the squishiest, followed by the squares and then the stars. And it's very easy if you have like an AoE skill that you're gonna miss aim it, and you're gonna either kill someone else's shape, or you're going to yeah, pretty much it. You don't really want to kill anyone else's shape. Okay. There is an additional feature to the mechanic where there is a Medusa, and we're going to be seeing the Medusa quite a lot this gate and onward. Actually, we'll come back to that in Gate 5, but Gate 3 has the same like icon for Medusa, where depending on the orb, you either look towards the eye or you look away from it. Okay. And generally by convention, if it's going to be like a circle eye, you're going to look toward it, and if it's going to be like a cat eye, you're going to look away. Okay. This kind of ties in with the 100 bar mechanic. Okay. But just note that the Medusa for 42 bars is always going to be look away. Okay, and it's always going to be pulsing out from the center in normal mode. In hard mode, it does change, and it makes it a little bit harder. But that's more of like a familiarity thing. Okay. Basically, if you look in the wrong direction for the Medusa, you're going to get pushed, and you get a stack on your buff bar, or your debuff bar. And basically that means you'll take a lot more damage from like whatever for the next 10-20 seconds, I think, until the buff goes away. So yeah, that happens. Okay. We'll assign spots in just a second. Actually, let's just do this now. Yuko, take 9, 10, 11 diamond. So you would generally stand like right here to start, okay? And then you would type in chat like that. Or some people shorten it and they're like top left diamond, but generally speaking, this is more clear. Okay. And you can even shorten diamond to like D or something, like 9, 10, 11 D, right? Stuff like that. Danny, let's do, you can stay there, Danny. So you would type 3, 4, 5 square.
Okay.
Like that.
Would I? Okay. A square. Okay, so like.
So this is what you would type.
Should be like
With the
three,
idea
right?
being you're going to start at 3 o'clock and you're going to kill the next 2 squares, including the one you're standing on. Okay?
Okay.
And it's kind of important that you use these, like, everyone kind of follows this cheat sheet for positioning starting. Okay? There actually was like a battle way back when where there was another guy that had a different like layout, but people like this layout a lot better. Okay, so as long as you use this one 9 times out of 10, you'll be fine. And if you're running with us, and we're going to be following this anyway, so okay. I guess just note that you will also probably be in range of the Medusa. Okay. The Medusa actually covers, generally speaking, this much, so you're probably in range of it. And the Medusa comes in waves. So it'd be like it'll do it, and then it'll go away, and then it'll come back, and then it'll go away. Okay.
Gotcha.
So you can either try to hit between Medusa spawning in, or you can do it during, as long as you look away, because again, this Medusa is always going to be at the center, and as long as you're looking away from the center, you can be free to hit your square in like this direction. Okay. All right. Most pugs will probably Inanna this. I don't know what they do in normal because haven't ran a 3-4 normal in forever. But Inanna is a Sidereal that will give you push immunity. So even if you were to look at the Medusa by mistake, you won't get pushed. But you're with me, so we're gonna just practice doing the mechanic. Okay. Also, it'll prevent you from getting the buff from like, or the debuff from like getting hit. So you won't take any damage or whatever. Okay. What else do we got? I will take 11, 12, 1 square. So I will be starting up over here and then making my way across this way. Meaning, Danny, you should not take the one up top, right?
Yeah, I go down.
Okay.
I go clockwise.
Kuso, what do you want?
11, 12 squares.
Oh, you want 11, 12 squares? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so Kuso will take that. I'll just take the one down here, 5, 6, 7, or whatever. I think it's 6, 7, 8. It's like 7, 8, 9. Okay. So the positions are 3, 4, 5 square, 11, 12, 1 square, and then there's also 7, 8, 9 square. Okay. So for 7, 8, 9, again, I'm starting roughly at 7 o'clock and making my way up. Okay. See here.
Whoever said you wanted to do 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
7, 8, 9.
Alright. Okay. Yeah, gunslingers are really expected to be able to do the star mechanic. Okay. So what's going to happen is that unlike the other patterns, the other shapes, there's going to be stars, but they're going to be different colors, and there's only going to be 3 of them. Okay, and they roughly spawn like this. I don't know exactly the colors and where they are, but this is like the rough orientation. Okay. I don't know, there's a blue somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just shows that there's like 4 on each side, basically. Alternating colors, kind of thing.
Yeah. So they're alternating colors. That doesn't change. Pretend that this diagram is correct. But what it means is that you need to be able to kill your corresponding colors without damaging your partners. Okay. So by convention, there are. We'll just pretend it's like red, blue, yellow, but it's alternating. Okay. There's going to be blue, yellow. Okay, and there's going to be red, yellow. Okay, and the way this works is that the boss is going to display a color. Okay, and that color means that the 2 people doing stars leave that color alive. Okay, so for example, if the boss is broadcasting yellow, okay, like if she's broadcasting yellow, and it's kind of obvious that she's broadcasting yellow, like in your immediate vicinity, this whole area will be yellow. Okay, like your edges of your screen will be yellow. Okay. Right. So if she's broadcasting yellow, that means whoever's BY will kill blue, and who's ever red Y will kill red. Okay, and it's like the simplest case, where she's broadcasting the color and everyone just does their pattern. Okay. Now the other cases, if she is assigning blue, right, this would mean that blue is left alone, and instead the player who's assigned blue yellow will kill yellow, and the person who's assigned red will kill red.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
So the person whose color is shown has to adjust, essentially. Okay.
To kill the other color. Okay.
And Gunslinger is expected to be able to do this because they actually have like the easiest kit for it. As long as you save target down and you're probably geared enough, you can just one-shot all the shapes. Or one-shot all the stars. 3 bullets, 3 shapes, right? And even then, Gunslinger's abilities are pretty single target. So you just need to adjust for your pattern, okay? Come bias, you're gonna take 5, 6, 7 diamond, okay? Alright, okay, cool. So when we're in here, you guys should just kind of line up at where you're supposed to go. So I would just stand here, come by us. Kaylyn and Oko can stand in the middle. That means I'm probably taking top left over here, or top right over here, okay? And this is the general positions that people are expected you to be in if they want you to stand in the spots, okay? And usually people call this immediately after gate 2, or they'll do it over here, okay? In our Brel channel, we have a small picture of what the stars look like, okay? If you're colorblind, you might memorize the orientations of the shapes. Otherwise, just note that they have different rings. So like the ring like looks like this for yellow, and then the rings for red, and then the rings for blue. Okay. That's what it looks like, okay? And this is an example of what the Medusa looks like, and as well as the color that she's broadcasting. Okay? So you can quite clearly see this is a crop of the raid, of course, but she's broadcasting yellow here, right? And then blue, and then red, and so on, right? Okay, and then you can see an example of the cat eye. Okay, which means look away. Right? Okay. So we have that, and this is a picture I took a couple months ago of how you're supposed to look like for the mechanic, right? So we have diamonds here, or sorry, we have diamonds here, okay? And then our squares, okay? And then our red Y and our stars our lovely stars are in the middle, okay? Just note that even though this is like 11, 12, 1, people kind of just stand in the middle because it's easier, because you can start in the middle and then kill left and then quickly kill right, you know, as opposed to walking across. But it's really just preference, as long as you don't mess up, you know. Similarly for diamonds 5, 6, 7, okay, you would call like 5, 6, 7 diamond, but stand in the middle, okay. And then here's a example of the mechanic in action, okay. So this is me doing it on support, maybe like 6 months ago, okay? So you can see what everyone looks like, right? And then you can see everybody on the map.
The gun lancer.
Right? Yeah, someone died. But anyway, this is not as clean as it could be, just because I was learning the raid at the time, right? But I can send one spell at each, and it's dead. Okay? So that's it. Alright? Like, it's very easy to kill the diamonds and stuff. I believe it's based off like hit count as opposed to like HP, which is why it's so easy. But what you're going to do after this actually is, if you do the pattern correctly, you're going to have a shape above your head. Okay? If you don't have this shape, you're dead. Okay, everyone has their own shape. Okay? Very strictly, if you have diamonds, you are staying at the edge of the map, and you're not going to walk into other people. Okay? And it's going to count down, and everyone else has to get in the correct position. Okay? Let me see if I have a picture. No, okay, I don't. But anyway, basically, if you're diamonds, you're staying outside, and then if you are squares or stars, you're going to stand in the middle. Just group up in the middle with everybody. Okay? It's going to make a tether between you and your respective shape, essentially. Going a little bit more detail in the mech. And if that shape isn't up because someone messed up, they're dead. Okay? Just note that if you mess up your own shape, you're going to be the only one to die. Unless you're like diamond and you decide to run it down into everyone. Okay. Yeah, that's that. Okay. So
Question.
yeah.
The random shape we get above our head, is that based off of what shape we destroy, or is it random?
Yes.
Okay. Wait,
Um,
yes, or which one?
the second one, or
It's
not?
random?
Oh, not random. Sorry, first one. So if you're
Okay.
diamond, you're going to get diamond.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
And then red and yellow, or red, yellow, blue, yellow, the stars. It's kind of random between them. Okay. Let me see if we can show somebody. Yeah, Gunlancer's chilling with this mechanic. Yeah. Okay. I don't have anyone else in my picture, but you shouldn't either when you're doing this mechanic as diamond. So the reason why I clipped this is you could do this without tossing a grenade. You just need to know when they spawn in. So what I'm looking for here is when the squares spawn in, I'm counting to 5. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm readying my sonic vibration. Okay. I could even go faster. I hesitated a little bit. But I know a lot more about this right now than I did before. Okay. So that's 42. Okay. At 145 bars, which is the first mechanic, party 1 is going to go x3 positions, and then party 2 is going to go x3 plus 1. Okay, so just again note your numbers. Okay. What's going to happen is the boss is going to have a stagger check. But before you do a stagger check, meteors are going to spawn in place in your respective spots. Not directly on top of you, you might have to walk a couple meters, but everyone should have 1 meteor for themselves, and everybody has to do a typing test. Okay? Just one. After you do your typing test, you're free to go and hit the boss. Okay? Whirlwinds, time stop whirlwind, sprinter's row for the mechanic. Okay? And generally speaking, it's 1 whirlwind for 145, 1 whirlwind for stagger check, and then if you need it, you can have a whirlwind for 42. Okay? So yeah, make sure you eat your meteor. If you don't eat your meteor, it's obvious because your position the meteor will blow up. And essentially you're diffusing the meteor by doing the typing test. Okay. Now for the 100 bar mechanic, pretend again we're playing on the center. We're playing on our circle map here. And we have boss over here. We have boss over here. And what's going to happen is there's a stagger check. But there's going to be Medusas. Just one singular Medusa. It's either going to be looking in or looking out. To be honest, it's been quite a bit since I did Gate 3 normal mode. And I think it chooses one of the two, and it always broadcasts that one. Okay? So if we start with out, it's going to be out for the entire duration of the mechanic. Okay? And yeah. So basically you want to avoid looking out whenever it's or you want to do the Medusa every time it's up, and then go back to doing whatever you're doing for the mechanic. Okay. Again, if you fail the Medusa, you get pushed out and you take a lot of damage. Usually if you fail 2 or 3 times, you're probably dead. So yeah, that's that. Honestly, it's pretty straightforward. Okay. We'll talk about 0x later. Now, Gate 3 is one of the first gates in Brel that has a time mechanic. Okay. And it alternates between the time mechanics, actually. There's going to be maze, and there's going to be maze, and there's going to be I don't know what to call it. Oh, feeding. Okay, we call it feeding. Okay. Maze is the easier one to explain first. So in maze, what's going to happen is the boss disappears, everyone's silenced, and it's going to make the map have a bunch of walls spawn in. Okay? I guess kind of like the Pomo Party game. And essentially, 3 exits will randomly spawn in around the map. not exactly like this, but they're pretty spaced out from each other. Okay. Right. And your goal is to avoid the walls that spawn in before the map like slowly explodes on itself and catches up to you. Okay. You have to be very careful with your pathing. It's kind of pretty easy to walk into the wall, and if you walk into the wall, you kind of get pushed a lot, which means you might not make it outside to one of the safe spots in time. Okay. So everybody, it doesn't really matter what spot you go to. Okay. But there is one exception. One person on the team, one person in the group will have a, like if this is you, they're going to be glowing yellow, basically. Like there's going to be a yellow aura around them. And that person with the yellow aura needs to go to a spot that also has the yellow aura. And how do you know which spot has the yellow aura? It's going to be on the map. Okay, so whenever maze actually pops up, I'm actually looking at the map, and that's going to be the exit I need to go to. Okay. Sometimes you can get away with being on the outside, like starting on the outside, and then you have a short trip. But let's say, for example, you're over here, and now you have to walk all the way across. More likely than not, you're not making it. Okay. Now the reason why you want to make it to your yellow spot in time is if you don't, everyone, maybe half the group is going to get charmed. And with that being said, it's technically a DPS window after the mechanic, or you're gonna get delayed. Everyone's gonna get delayed. Okay. In normal mode, it's not as punishing for not getting into the correct spot. But in hard mode, when you're charmed, you actually start killing people. So sleep bombs are actually what you're supposed to take as a 4th item. Okay. Instead of Sprinter's Robe. Okay. So, if for some reason you cannot make it to the end, make it to an exit, always have a time stop ready, because you can just time stop the explosion. You can still use items, you just can't cast any abilities, nor can you spacebar. Right. So that's the first time mechanic. Okay. The second time mechanic, yes. Probably like an hour.
I thought we were gonna pick her up at 4:20.
Probably not. I don't think I can. Sorry. Okay, so the other time mechanic, sorry, someone in the room, is feeding. And for feeding, everyone's going to go into X3+1 because the boss is going to TP to the center. And she's going to spawn in a shape. She's either going to spawn in like a star, or she's going to spawn in, I believe, a pentagon. I could be wrong. Shoot, that's not a pentagon. This is a pentagon. Okay. And the shapes don't have to be in these like locations, but they're usually opposites of each other. Okay. If she broadcasts a star, for example, we must lead the star into her. Okay. And if what you do with the pentagon is you kind of just kite it away from the boss. I want to teach kiting it just because in normal mode, I guess what people do is that you just eat the shape, but you don't eat the shape in hard mode. Okay, you just kite it. So maybe just practice kiting it for a bit. Okay. If we do this successfully, she's going to show spots at X3+1 positions, and everybody gets into their spot, which means that there's 2 people per spot. Okay. And if we get everybody in their spot, they're gonna get a buff, and it protects from the next set of attacks and opens up a DPS window for the boss for the next like 10 seconds or so. So this is a huge like window to hit. Okay. And if, for example, one person dies, let's say something like this happens, right? You guys need to adjust. So for example, this person can go down here. Okay. So now it's 2, right? And now you guys can now hit the boss and stuff. Okay. Now, if it's something like this, right? let's just say that this happens, okay, which can, because it's timed, and this mechanic can happen like multiple times. What you're supposed to do is that you have to tank one explosion. She's gonna do a series of explosions. You tank the first one, and as soon as you tank the first one, you have to time stop. If you don't time stop, you're not gonna be able to time stop after that, and you'll die probably. Okay. So again, these patterns alternate. So if you see maze, it's going to be feeding next, and then vice versa. Okay. Everything else we can just talk about as we go. Again, more attack patterns and stuff. Counters are important. We'll call them out. Alright. If no questions, we can start going. Okay.
One sec, I'm gonna blow my nose.
너는 아브레슈드, 감 나의 기사를.
Okay, for now, probably just make it to 100x or so. And see if everybody lives. Okay.
You're good.
I guess another thing to note is around, I believe, 85 bars, the boss gets enhanced. So her attacks have additional effects. Just note that a lot of these attacks do hurt at eye level. So, again, learning the attack patterns, important. And this is the same boss from Phantom Wing Island.
Oh, I want her pants.
어리석게도 몽환을 깨려 하는구나.
So if you want some practice with her attacks, go see her
나는
over there.
현실을 베는 자, 아슈타르트. 피할 수 없어. 내 창이 너의 고통을 원하니까.
Okay, so this is inside safe. And this is triangle. She's gonna... Actually, maybe later. Never mind. Counter after this. And this is just outside safe. Now, if someone gets hit by this, she does a second swing, like so. Generally speaking, people just don't care. Just dodge. If you get hit, ping yourself. And this would be a counterable pattern if we didn't counter her recently. Outside safe, then in. Jump in, jump in. Or get really far away. Alright, now this is kind of just chill. You either chill here usually or here, it's fine. Counter after this when it comes back. Okay. You going for now? Side safe? And then mechanic positions. Okay. If you're X3 +1, your meteor spawn first.
Oh, I'm down here. Fuck me.
Oh. Oh god.
Heavy armor is
Where's the
amazing.
censorship? Yeah, nice heavy armor to help with that one. But yeah, don't run away from the attack patterns, okay? You guys need to be able to, like, see them, okay? So yeah, remember your spots. If you're party 1, usually you're X3, which means you kind of have to chill a little bit. Usually if you die before 140, like the first mech, it's a restart anyway. And if 3 people die by 100 bars, it's definitely a restart. Because it's just gonna take too long to push mechs. Alright, outside safe. Now if no one gets hit, she doesn't do the second part, like so, okay? Outside safe. Okay, inside safe. So what you need to look out is that you can either do it by the color of the circle, or you can do it by the fact of how your character gets pushed. The safe spot is always the opposite direction where you get pushed. Counter. Outside safe. You can like choose to get hit by it, like maybe if support's paying attention they could shield you, but that's like a little bit more advanced. Inside safe, follow her. Maybe this is... Nope, not yet. Inside safe, inside. Outside safe, then in. In now. Alright, first mech, spots. Remember, grab your meteor first. Party 1 should have theirs now. And then stagger the boss. And on completion you don't die, and it's a DPS window. We're coming across like maybe first time mechanics soon. This is maze. So if you have the color, you need to go top left. And then just chill out the exits. And then now you go back. If you leave a little bit too early, you might get hit by the explosion, so just keep that in mind. Inside safe. I needed to do like the waffle pattern and stuff. So this pattern is outside safe, then in, okay? And then there was a counter there. But yeah, that's a counterable attack sometimes. Outside safe again. This is inside safe. Pink circle, okay? And it tried to push you away from the safe zone. That's what you want to remember. Follow her. See, she's gonna throw a spear down. Wait for the spear to drop and then follow her, okay? This is going to be inside safe. And then usually groups might need a Vey before 100x just to push it to 100x. Other groups will decide to weigh. I think weighing is probably the most common thing to do on an eye level group. Otherwise, they're gonna save for 42 mechanic for no. Inside safe, then out. Out. So this one kind of trips you up because you're like, oh, it's red, it's bad. But they do the reverse card on you here. Alright, this is the feeding, okay? So she's going to be broadcasting star, so feed it a star and get the other one away. When it's fed, go to your X3 +1. 2 people per spot. Oh, JK. Time stop now. Okay. Let's see. So if you have the... Wait. I thought top left was fine. Okay, whatever. Keep going for now. Let's see the stagger mech. And guys, it's okay to like ping the safe spot and stuff. Partner doesn't see it. Okay. This is stagger mech. This is going to be look toward the eye and stagger. So prioritize Medusa first, and then stagger. Otherwise, you can position yourself accordingly to never have to deal with the thing. And I'm dying because I'm talking. But yeah, okay. Alright. You want for now? This is the waffle pattern. She's going to like regroup somewhere and then counter. I think this is maze now. Check your map. If you have yellow, go to the spot. Find your exit. So if you're too slow, people get charmed. And you died, Kaylyn, because of the explosion, not because of anyone here. There's no reason to sleep anybody here, I don't think. It's kind of like the Vicus Gate 3 mechanic where you kind of just waste all your spells. Like that. Okay. One thing you can possibly do during the maze, if you're quick enough, you can kind of walk before the walls spawn in. And that'll cut down the distance you need to travel. Okay, I want you guys to see when she, I guess, powers up. Trevor, that's fine. Okay, she should do a little animation. Probably soon. That's the animation where her attacks are enhanced. So that happens at 85 bars always, okay? And this is the feeding mechanic. Okay. So take away Pentagon, and then go to X3 plus 1. Oh, I don't think we fed her in time. Okay.
So there's a pattern where she like spawns clones around her, and they're like, she like kind of like swipes all the entire area. Where's safe for that?
Outside safe.
Outside, like, okay, very far.
There's too many things going on.
It's okay. That was only second pull. But basically... Alright. So... Yeah, we can adjust it. So if she is broadcasting the shape, just eat the other shape. Eat the shape that she's not broadcasting. And then just do whatever.
Oh, are they removing this one?
Nothing confirmed. It's all speculation.
She's pretty though. I like her.
I mean, I would remove gate 1. That's kind of boring. Yeah, 1 and 3. Yeah, so let me show... What do I need to show? Actually, okay, let me talk about the waffle patterns, and let me talk about the pattern Oko just talked about, okay? Alright, so we're gonna go here. Okay, so let's pretend boss is... Second. Okay, so let's pretend boss is like here, okay? It doesn't matter where they're looking, okay? But essentially what's happening is that she's spawning a bunch of clones and they're attacking inside. Okay, so if you're anywhere inside, it's dangerous. Okay. So the suggestion is to step outside. This is you, like step outside the range of the attack. I believe the attack lasts like what you're avoiding is these soldiers, these clones that are like attacking. So once these clones are done attacking, hop in. Okay. And you're gonna, depending on the attack, you're gonna counter her. Actually, do I have a picture of that? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Okay, this is the picture of the buff for the maze. Okay. You have this amount of time before it falls. Okay. And basically you're leading the brand to the pattern so it diffuses or whatever. Okay, yeah, I don't have it here. So that's that pattern. The other pattern, so sometimes she's going to spawn in a, there's two variants, okay? There's a pattern where she summons a bunch of saws and it's like alternating like safe spots, like alternating rows is safe spots and stuff like that, okay? So for example, if it's like this, anywhere green here would be considered safe. Okay. And there's two variants to this, okay? Let's say for example she does one where it does this first, where she summons the saws, okay? You just kinda, you're free to do damage to her, by the way. She's not DO'd or anything, she's just there. So if you happen to be near her, which you should be, do damage, okay? What's going to happen next is that she's going to teleport. And as soon as she teleports, maybe not as soon, but maybe like 1 second after she teleports to like one of the adjacent spots, it's an opportunity to counter, usually, okay? One thing to note is, generally speaking, she is actually targeting somebody. So let's say she does start like here and everybody is around her, like you guys are all these blue X's. It's very common practice to go into one spot, for example, like one of the next spots, because what's going to happen is that these safe zones are going to flip. Okay. So either go here or here. Usually, even if you guys split up, it's okay. Because as long as you guys are together, it's obvious where she might show up. Okay. But usually speaking, everybody just groups in the same spot. Let's say here, she's going to spawn like close to this, and she's going to look at you guys, and it's a counter opportunity. Okay. So that's variant 1. Okay. The other variant of the pattern is where she does, she summons like a waffle line of saws. Like she's in the air, you can't hit her. She summons like waffles, with a waffle pattern. Generally speaking, it's very common to stand in the middle here, or at least like close. Okay. What's going to happen is she does this, and then she does the pattern we just talked about, and only when that pattern's done, like it finishes completely, are you allowed to counter her if need so. Okay. Now, how do we know that we need to counter her? Okay, Danny's BRB. Yeah, we'll talk counter. I don't think I have it here though. Okay. Alright. And he's back. And he talked counter. So what's going to happen is that what we're watching for actually, well, you guys are also learning the patterns and stuff. Every single time the boss attacks, she's going to generate a stack. Okay. And this goes up to 5. And I believe it's like red. It's like a sword icon or something. Okay. When this counts to 5, the buff will disappear, and the next attack is going to be counterable. Okay. So basically all the maze patterns we talked about could be counterable. We talked about the one where she's in the center and all the clones are attacking the inside. That one could be counterable. But it's only counterable if she just had the buff just before. Okay, so that's how I know how to prep for that. Okay. Generally speaking, for all counters, she's actually looking at somebody, but we don't know who. Okay. For the 100 bar mechanic, because the boss is like here, right? The boss is in the center of the map, let's say. And actually, let's just do this. So the boss, let's say the boss, we know the boss is in the center of the map, okay? If she does the diamond one, which is look away, you want to position yourself in a way where you don't even have to bother, like always repositioning. So if it's look away, the best thing you can do is like stand here. That way, no matter where the Medusa travels, you're always just automatically looking away because you're staggering the boss. Make sense? Now this also applies for the other end. Okay, so if we take the Medusa where you have to look at it to not get pushed, let's take the one where it's like this. That's the circle one. Instead, position yourself on the opposite side of the Medusa. That way you're always looking at the Medusa, no matter what. Cool. Alright, and that's how you like properly do this mechanic without needing to like look away or whatever. Like if you're here, then you have to alternate looking back and forth. While here, you're always looking toward it, no matter where it goes. So either it goes this way or this way. Okay. Alright. Alright. Let's see if we can stay alive for a stagger. And let's keep going. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna push the stagger mech now with Nineveh. And yes, we love waffles. I guess something to note is that Gate 3, I guess, is supposed to be a DPS check for Gate 4. But usually it's pretty easy to meet that check. Wait for it to land and then follow. Waffle, or no waffle. So let's go here afterwards. And then counter. Okay. So this later gets upgraded to be a triangle pattern, where she dashes 3 times and goes back to where she started the attack. This is, you don't want to walk wherever there's a completed shape. So generally speaking, it's a walk away pattern, and try to figure out where the safe spots are. Wait for it to land, and then follow. Okay. Outside safe. Careful dash. Outside safe, and then after first explosion, come back in. So you should be able to walk away and then dash back in, or jump back in. All right, first mech. Do your typing test. You should only have to do 1, and then stagger. Alright, maze. I'm gonna go top right here. It doesn't matter if you are, like, if you're yellow, you don't have to go, or if you're not yellow, you can still go yellow. Alright, this is counterable after, okay. Same pattern as before. Let's try to group it maybe down here or above, it doesn't matter. And then counter. Sometimes people like dipping the spot for people to grip. She's above, careful. Inside safe. Remember, play close to the boss. Counter. Outside safe, then counter. Outside again. 3, 4. So if you look at her buff bar right now, she's at 1 stack. Just point that out. Now it's at 2. Outside safe. Then in. Now it's at 3. Okay. Outside safe. Inside safe, then out. And then out now. It's very easy to get shotgun, so make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing here. Counter after this. Alright, push stagger, okay. Figure out the eye first. So it is look away. Away. And then just stagger. Remember, when it's look away, position yourself in between the boss and the eye. Alright, time mechanic, this is feeding. She wants Pentagon. So eat the star, and then go to your X3 plus 1. Quick X3 plus 1, get into the yellow spot, and just wait. As soon as you get the buff, you're free to hit. Now. So this is a good, like, you know, bard damage buff. Maybe throw a dark grenade, stuff like that. Outside save. Alright, so we're gonna look to push the shape mechanic now at 42. Dodge. Keep dodging, it's gonna happen 3 more times. 2 more times. 1 more time. And this should be counterable, I think. Yep, okay. So if you ever get hit by that, prioritize yourself first and make sure you dodge the patterns first. Outside safe, then in. When you get better, you can work on, you know, freeing someone during the pattern. But normally it's just better to just, you know, wait till the end. Okay. This should be counterable. Let's see. Not counterable, because we just countered. Outside safe, and keep walking. Look at those explosions, careful. So those explosions normally are not there until after she upgrades at 85 bars. This triangle, she's gonna land back here, okay? So you can, like, if you're bard, you can pre-prep like Sonic Vibration to land there, stuff like that. Inside safe. Okay, waffle pattern. Position yourself and counter when the saws come back. Okay, we have a maze mechanic, okay. Get to the end. Sometimes you get lucky and you just have to look straight ahead. And then let's go do this again. Inside save. Outside save, and then counter. Oh, checking, not counter. Okay, triangle. He's gonna land over here. So yeah, this pattern is probably one of the most dangerous ones. This is Argos. Just stand next to the boss. I say Argos because it's the first. That's like the same attack. inside safe. Remember, mechanic at 42 bars. Okay. If you're shapes, you should probably start trying to save your spells once you get closer to it. Okay. Just be mindful of your party's DPS. Or the group CPS. Outside safe, then in. Remember, first explosion, then come back in. Alright, this is the mechanic. She's going to broadcast red. So Oko, you're hitting yellow. Squares have just spawned in. And you're looking away from the center. Okay, if you do it correctly, then you are going on the outside. Okay, so that's probably expected because Oko died. And now we have defeating mechanic. And let's see how well you guys can adjust for this. Okay. Oh, we didn't get defeated in time. After first explosion, time stop. Get the timing down. Okay, good. Let's see. I want to see if we can get maze one more time. It'll be like 4 minutes though. Probably. Or a minute and a half, I think, between each. Okay, this is the short pattern. She's going to regroup somewhere and counter. Remember, if no waffle, if there is a waffle pattern, it's the long one. Otherwise, she's going to TP after and then counter. One man blank there. Anyway, keep going. Okay. Argos. Okay. Free pattern. Alright, let's just restart. Okay. So tip for Oko, you have a lot of time. Okay. Just make sure you're looking away from the center to start. And you can maybe target down one, and then before the next Medusa pops and explodes, you can probably take down the other two.
Yeah, I didn't know, like, I couldn't see where the Medusa was.
Yes, the Medusa is always going to be in the center for normal mode.
Alright, gotcha.
And it's always the same, it's always look away. Okay. Yuko, did you see how you killed Trevor?
Sorry, what?
Did you see how you killed Trevor?
I killed Trevor?
That's what Trevor's saying. I didn't get to see it, but I'll
I'm
say
so
yes.
sorry. I am so sorry. You gotta kill me this round.
Well,
Wait, how did
that wasn't like did you see what you messed up on, I guess?
No, how did I kill him?
Okay. So most likely you probably like accidentally like hit your spell and it hit his square, probably.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. And then for what the reason for Kaylyn's thing, so if you're star, you actually get two shapes. You get one of either star and diamond, or you get star and square, I believe. And that's just what's supposed to happen is if you have star and diamond, you're kind of just chilling. But it doesn't really matter. You can just stick with the person who has star square. So no. If you have a diamond by yourself, but that's never going to be the case with stars. Yeah, you're just AFK in the middle. No. So remember, if you're stars, you're responsible for half the group, and it's like kind of random. It could be two people on your. It's usually two people on one party and two people on the other. So what ended up happening was that Oko died, and he wasn't able to clear his shapes in time. And if he dies mid mechanic, basically you have the little you make a safe spear for your 4 people or whatever. Yeah. So Oko dying means 4 people die. Now if it was the case where it would, let's say Oko did his part correctly, and let's say Yuko didn't, like what just happened now, like Yuko killed Trevor, Yuko and Trevor would die because Yuko killed someone else's shape and Trevor wasn't able to get enough of his.
Oh, but I lived.
Um, I don't know. Maybe it's like exception for Diamond because Kaylyn was alive, I guess. I don't know all of it, to be honest. Someone murdered it. Yeah. We can keep going. There's literally like a whole paragraph someone wrote on like Reddit where I guess if I really wanted to I could go look at it, but it's not super important. Okay, I want to try one where I mess up someone on feeding and you guys have to time stop. So I have my targets. So good luck on time stopping. Learn the timing. Sadly, this means Kusa will have to time stop as well. Thanks, Kusa, for your sacrifice. Remember, if it's completed shape, it's not safe. And people like, I don't know, they call it like Disney pattern, or Disney Channel or whatever. We'll be drawing a lot of shapes in the future. Inside save? Okay. So next attack is going to be countered. Okay, so she's going to dash back, and when she dashes back, it's counter. Drawing shapes with lasers. Inside safe. Alright, mech 1. Starting with feeding here, okay? So she wants star. So lead the star into her. So you wanted to take aggro, okay? And now you guys will time stop after first explosion. Okay. Remember, it's not everyone time stopping. Only the ones who don't get the shield. So I think Combias, you time stop when you didn't have to. Kaylyn, you too. The buffs are separate and they're by pair. Okay. But if you're just practicing to practice it, sure, no problem. Inside save. I'm siderialing for fun. That was not a sidereal pattern, I don't think. Outside then in. Remember the blue and red like circles for this attack are opposites of each other. Okay. Counter this. Maze. Remember, take a look at the map as the maze is spawning. Okay. If you mess up and
I didn't see my
yeah, if you mess up and you're too far, just get to the exit. Okay, that's more important. What you maybe as a default, it's better to just go to yellow exit, okay? And then once you figure out, hey, maybe I don't need to go there because I don't have the buff. Because anyone can go to the yellow exit, okay? It's just important that the one who has the yellow buff gets there. Okay, stagger. Look away. Position yourself in the middle, like in between the boss and the eye. And unload all your stagger. And on stagger, remember, wait until the last Medusa's gone and then you can do whatever you want with how you look. I've seen some people, like, they do the mechanic and they're like, oh, wait, there's another eye, and then they die at the very end. Oh no, I died right before. last pull. Okay, this is going to be feeding. So now she wants star, lead the star into her, and then go to your X3+1. And if your partner is dead, you have to time stop. Okay, this is 1 out of the 4 squares are safe. Okay. Outside, then in, and then counter. Outside, then in. Outside, and then whatever. And then she does that, so you're kind of crying.
Bro.
Having fun. Inside. Alright, this is the short pattern. Okay, she's gonna TP somewhere. Ideally with everyone, and then counter, and then I'm gonna push stars. Let's do that. Oko, probably watch Trevor to see how he does it. Okay. And it's maze, it's on me. So as maze is happening, I'm walking toward the center, because that's like generally shortest path from anywhere. He was red Y. RY. RY. Not that. Outside, then in. Wait for the explosion, then come back in. You only have to dodge the first explosion. That's all. Oh. Counter this pattern. Okay, short pattern again. No, remember, no waffle means TP somewhere and then counter. One of the 4 corners. Alright, she's going to be broadcasting blue. And then look away, Medusa 1. Medusa 2. Oh, I killed one of Danny's shapes. Danny, kill this one down here. Oh. Oh, did you go kill my ship? Just happened.
Yeah.
Me? I killed your ship?
I feel like you did.
Trevor.
No, I even threw a bomb this time.
Oh, it was Trevor. Trevor killed him. Or whatever. It's okay though. Yeah, Sharpshooter's a little hard. He has a lot of AoE skills.
I think I broke one of Trevor's too.
Yeah, that's cool. So this is like gate specific. Sometimes if your group for some reason doesn't have a good star killer, some people like give up like some of their like main quote unquote main damage skills to go single target, but that's like on a case by case basis. But I'm just saying that it is possible. Like for example, Sulfus doesn't normally do it, but he can if he just swaps out some of his skills. Okay, we're good. Lucky. I'm out of tea. I'm out of my fruit tea. I'm only left with fruit now. Inside safe. Yeah, so I guess, okay, so with Maze, again, direct vision on the map, and then peripherals for the walls and stuff. Because even if you walk into the wall for like a second or two, it's fine. Usually. Counter this. Good counter. So that one stack. Inside safe. Inside safe. Remember, positioning first and then damage. That way you don't get interrupted. Outside safe. And then again. Damage overall is just looking a bit better too. Which is good. It's expected. Alright, positions. First mech.
널 속박한 몽환에서 벗어나야 한다.
So like generally speaking, if you choose not to take whirlwinds, you would probably toss on every stagger check or whatever, or maybe on a counter. A good example is after the first mechanic, when everyone staggers her, because everyone's hitting the boss for free. Alright, check for the exit. If for some reason you're an exceptionally slow class, like maybe Gunlancer, you would take a Swiftness roll for this part. But you could do it without it. It'll just help in some cases. Dodge this, then counter. If you get trapped, ping yourself. So that pattern in particular, it doesn't matter if she's at like 3 stacks or 2 stacks. It is a counter. Unless you countered her like right before. The one where you have to dodge like the blue zones, okay? And the blue zones always spawn on top of you. So if you group up with other people, then, you know, there's more space to play with. Counter this. JK. Because we just countered her. So because I knew someone got hit, I'm casting Nineveh here. Because she's going to stand there a little bit longer. Outside safe, then in. Inside safe, then out. Okay, this is counter after this. Again, only because she has the stacks. Now she restarts. This is a stagger check. Look toward it. Look. And stagger. Look and stagger. Look. Remember, Medusa first. That's part of your positioning. Right, feeding. She wants Pentagon, and then X3+1. How does this work here? Let's see. Alright. Time stop. Never. Okay. Alright, inside safe. Now I can't like force anyone to die to like practice it with people died, but no, if I could I would. TP somewhere then counter. Oh, I'm dead. Alright, I get to watch shapes now. Okay, she's at 4 stacks. Inside save. Okay. Now next attack is counter. It's the waffle pattern, so wait for all the saws to finish. You can still do damage to her now, though. Right, maze. And then, yeah, just make sure you're in the exit. Sometimes you might be out because you got pushed. Outside safe, then in. Outside safe, Short pattern. Outside safe, and then outside. If you're support, you're supposed to like tank this pattern as well. Like just spacebar into the explosion. Like this orb here, Yuko. But you want to do it when it's like coming out of the boss.
Okay, gotcha.
Because you have heavy armor, so you can tank it.
I have heavy armor 1.
2, I think.
1.
Keep dodging. Remember, this pattern will happen 3 times just because, and you want to try to stay grouped with people. It makes things a lot easier to dodge. And then counter. Even on the last like explosion, you want to try to group with people so she looks at, she minimizes the option she has to turn to someone. Outside safe, then in. Oko, we're out of pots. Oko?
Yeah, I was out of pots.
Okay. Alright, X3 +1, and we have an even amount of people, so technically you guys should adjust. Good, Danny. Kusa, are you able to do this? You should be able to, right? The stars? Because Trevor can't.
Yeah, stars.
Okay. You're RY, right? Oh, keep dodging, keep dodging. Oh, Yuko's so sad.
Mid awaken.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Kaylyn. Rest in peace.
Did Kaylyn die trying to save me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other star is dead.
Yeah. So it's either 4 people die or 1 person dies.
I didn't get him.
Or maybe mix, maybe like 3 and 2.
Everyone dies.
Okay. Give it back, check your time stops, I guess. Okay, outside save. Alright, this is
Oh.
there's no additional orbs until after 85, okay? So it's just
Okay, gotcha.
you can
gotcha.
be inside safe for that pattern. Until 85. Short pattern, that means counter afterwards, right? Maybe go to the side, one of the sides. Okay, inside. Argos, next to the boss. Inside safe. Back one.
눈을 떠라 드비시. 널 속박한 몽 안에서 벗어나야 한다.
Alright, this is feeding. Want star. And then X3 plus 1. And then as soon as you get the buff, do damage, or buff, or whatever. This is a good Dark Grenade timing. Counter. And sometimes she will be focused on the guy who's not with the rest of the group. Inside save. And then counter after this. Outside, then counter. And it's at 106, so a couple more bars and we're doing the stagger check. Wait till she lands, and then inside. She does do damage when she lands, so you just want to wait until afterwards. She's at 3 stacks, but we're doing the mechanic now, and we want to look away. Position yourself in between the boss and the eye, so you can stagger uninterrupted. Alright, check if you have the buff. Seems like we got there in time. Cool. Good counter after this. Oh, this is the 4 pattern. Oh no, it's just one counter after this. JK, we just countered. So people would say like ICD or whatever, internal cooldown. Or not counterable. She's upgraded now. It's like mini berserk, outside then in. This is like the easiest stack to get one shot by after the one where she summons the clones after this one. And just take note that you guys are, depending on who you are, you're probably like 10 to 20 eye levels above. So you're actually kind of tanky. Alright, feeding. She wants Pentagon. Bring the Pentagon to her. Oh, then we all out the time stop. After first explosion. Alright, good time stops. Triangle, I believe. And then she's gonna land back here if you want to start prepping spells. Okay. Like my Nineveh was like outside safe, and then Yuko go tank.
Paint.
Alright. This is the mech. Okay. Medusa now. Remember, look away from Medusa. Okay. And then kill.
Oh, I just
Oh.
fucking demolished the mid.
That's my bad.
Aha.
I'm biased, you're dead. Unless you can get a diamond. Get the diamond, quick. Okay, so were we able to identify the shape she was broadcasting that time? First of all, that's number one. Okay. Alright. So... What happened, Oko? You killed Kaylyn's shape, basically?
I just I whipped my my thing and I shot like all three of them.
Are we talking about perfect shot?
I think I killed yours.
Yeah.
I only killed
Don't
three.
use
Any other ones?
don't use that.
Yeah. Alright.
Use target down, use your bullet rain, use your shotgun skills.
In what's it called? The 3 o'clock.
Yeah, so the one snipe skill is target down. But he might not. He should be able to kill him because he's over geared. But you know, in case you can't, those are your other skills that you have to use. Or if you're not paying attention. Like I know Yuko was watching me, and when I was doing my gunslinger like a couple weeks back, I didn't have my sniper skills, so.
You go, BRB. Kaylyn, BRB. I have fried chicken in the fridge. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else sleep?
Kaylyn did.
Okay. But yeah, I will try to call out before like we get to the mech. That way you can start just saving your skills. It's more important that you stop DPS as stars, just so that you have your, your necessary cooldowns. Gunslinger, it's a little bit easier just because you have so many stars, you have so many skills. But maybe like Shadow Hunter needs to not transform, stuff like that. We're about an hour in right now. And then Oko, as soon as the Medusa is done, you should be hitting. I think last pull I saw you just pause. And you were waiting until the Medusa spawned to start hitting. It's the other way around.
Gotcha.
And then I guess the way the Medusa works is you have until it explodes to not do whatever. Or to do the Medusa. So until it actually like does the final pulse at the end, you're not gonna get affected by it. If it helps with the timing. If anything, Elko, you should probably call out what shape it is, or what color she's spawning. Like, oh, she is blue, so I'm hitting stuff like that. Okay.
Oh, Josh.
Hmm?
Welcome back. Oh, you can show me later. The part of the vlog that you wanted.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Alright. Let's go, let's go. We have Kaylyn. Yuko, do you have darks on you, by the way, or no?
I do not. I brought whirlwinds. Do you want me to bring darks?
Do it next pull.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright, Argo, stand next to the boss. Alright, counter after this. Short pattern, okay. Regroup, counter. And generally speaking, because it's so close to first mech, Yuko, I wouldn't damage off of that counter.
Okay, gotcha.
No, my crit. Where is it?
Alright, mace. So all that happens in normal mode is that we waste all our skills. long pattern. Okay. Watch everything. Just wait outside. Technically, you can, be damaged if you got behind her during the second part. Inside. It's like, this is a good pattern to Rhapsody, because sometimes some DPS just don't really care about the damage here. Especially if you're Rhapsody. This might be late. Outside safe. Beating. So yeah, you want to get close enough so it aggro's onto you, and then everyone else can split. And we can do all the buffs. Mechanic.
Oh.
Nico happened.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking shapes. Oops. I was like, why are the shapes spawning? Oops.
Don't worry, I thought the same thing.
Okay.
Remember, 100 bar mechanic, and then the next one is 42. So just check the HP bar.
Yeah.
Inside safe. Counter after this, but this is the short one. Maybe group down.
Oh, wait.
You generally want to follow everyone for that pattern. Mace. Outside, then in. Then in immediately after the first explosion. Outside, then in. I mean, also safe spot for that pattern with all the clones is in between the clones as well. If you haven't noticed. Inside safe. Counter after this. Good counter. And we're approaching on stars. Inside safe. Or shapes mechanic. 42 bars.
One more bar.
This is like a dangerous pattern. You see how outside is like not safe? It's like in between. Inside the, or outside the noon. Okay, we're gonna get a feeding. Be mindful of the shapes. She wants star. Alright, time's off after the first one. Remember, you guys shouldn't be afraid of trying to drag the shape. Okay? If you want to mess up now, like, it's okay to mess up here. Shapes. Okay, what color is it?
Red.
So what are you killing?
I'm killing yellow.
Remember, the Medusas are really slow, so you have a lot of time. Alright, if you have diamonds, stay out. Diamonds, stay out. Diamonds, stay out. I should see 3 people on the outside. And we're good. Okay, keep going. Alright, seems good. I don't really have to explain the last mech, so we're just gonna push to that and clear, okay? The last mechanic is literally just stay in your spot. So go to your X3 +1 X3 spots, like for first mech, and you want to pick up a color, so either blue or red, and then you're gonna keep picking up that color. Counter with this. So if you start with red on your spot, you're only gonna pick up red swords by standing in the circle. Okay, Mace? Does that like make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Oh.
Your size color mark. Step into matching color. Okay.
Inside then out. Outside then in.
Yeah, that one's. Hey. Oh, I still here.
Okay, you have blues? Probably? Blue pots?
Me?
Okay. Dodge.
Yeah, blues.
3 more. Okay. This is good grouping. Try to stay together in case you know. What's that? Okay. Inside safe? Alright, that's not a mechanic. But first we are feeding her. Okay. Positions. And then... Too early, Kaylyn. You cannot, yeah. This way. You have the time stop after first. You can't, stop too early. Alright, positions, and we're fine to keep doing the mech here. Alright, all you're doing is literally just picking up the same color, okay? And technically, Yuko, you should just be building meter here. But
Oh,
we're having you do the mech. Do the mech.
Oh, weird. Okay.
이제
Okay.
편히 쉬거라.
Okay.
So what we're looking for,
나의
I'll
영이시여.
put it in the chat after, because there's no cutscene. Okay. So the differences between normal and hard mode is that you kind of have to get 8. So what you're looking at, look at the Brel channel. You see the ×8. Every single time someone picks up a spear, and it's unique. Like if 2 people are on the same spot, it still counts as 1. Okay. If that gets the ×8, that's how much you need after the 2 or 3 rounds of the spears spawning in. Okay. So you're supposed to like divide and conquer, kind of. I think the spears technically spawn in a predictable, like it's a set pattern as well. The differences between normal and hard mode is that there's an alternating Medusa, and it's always being emitted from the center. No Medusa in normal mode 3x or 0x. Okay. X can buy the box if you guys need pieces. And we can move on to like my favorite gate in Brel. Hop on in. Alright, before I explain anything, we're just gonna hop on in. Okay. Just take note that your items are pretty much the same as from Gate 3. You would take a Whirlwind or Dark Grenade. Okay? Usually Whirlwind.
What's this gate, right? I think I know this gate.
It's our favorite gate. It's
I think I know
cube.
this one. Yeah, the cube one.
Just be mindful if you ever plan on doing Gate 5, this guy might show up, so when he attacks. Oh, don't skip this.
그것은 세상에 없는 그림자. 본능적으로 존재를 탐할 것이니 죽이지 못한다면 먹힐 것이다. 지독하군.
Alright, welcome to Cube.
더러운 악몽이
Yeah, trial and error for now until stuff happens. This is a memory pattern. You got this, Yuko. You got this, Yuko.
Out.
What is this?
Yuko, remember. Yuko, remember. Red is not safe. Okay, avoid the red.
Red was safe earlier. Just saying. I am just getting pushed everywhere. Where am I going? What the fuck?
Yuko, avoid all the red.
You see what you I only see red.
Are you that mad? What's going on? That's great.
What is this?
Push immunity.
Remember yellow. What does yellow mean, Yuko? From Clown? I know you've been progging Clown.
Oh.
Dang.
There's a
Dead.
black. Oh.
Alright, I mean, we're never doing this unless I explain it. Yeah, good luck, have fun. Let's do another pull, maybe we get a different color. Just note that was yellow cube.
We got yellow. Okay. I saw a flash of color, but I didn't notice what.
We had to have watched it once, like when we initially progged it, right, Trevor? Like the very first pull or something? Not even when I joined the group? I guess not, maybe it was a couple weeks after. Because I was blind progging. I was blind progging this.
No, probably not.
Okay. Let's not roll yellow, that would be amazing.
This looks like fun already.
Oko, try to live until first mech. You only have to live 20 bars. Remember, damage always comes after learning what patterns are showing up. Being able to read where you need to position first. See ya, Danny.
Back here. Okay. Trying, man.
Just note that Gate 4 is not really like there's mechs for Gate 4, but like it's not the issue for this gate. The issue is all these attack patterns. So focus on this first, or you know, as we're progging. Goodbye. We can make it to first mech. It's only at ×8. Oh my goodness, it's at ×9. A little hint. I say ×9 because look at the bar.
I see the buff bar. It's got.
Kaylyn, no. Goodbye, Kaylyn.
My god, this is so trippy. What is this shit? Oh, this is stagger
I
thing?
know this.
This is
yeah.
the stagger thing. Oh my god,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Fuck. That went great.
Okay. Okay, let's explain some of the cube. Okay. When I did it blind prog or semi-blind prog, we did 2 pulls into explanations.
Watch
Yeah, you can watch energy. True. All right.
Wait.
No.
You're playing right now?
No, Danny. I didn't even know you watched. I didn't even know you
I've been
watched
watching,
VCT.
Man.
When did you start watching VCT? This year?
This year, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Trevor. He doesn't watch. All right.
Okay, it's on mute. Don't worry. I'm here.
One second. Ba-ba-bum. All right. So, welcome to the cube. So the cube has 3 different colors, and depending on the color of the cube, determines the attacks. The first area where we actually see something like this occur, where you need to pay attention to your surroundings to figure out the attack patterns, is in Argos, Gate 3. But the problem is most of you guys just like kind of skipped everything in Argos, so you guys probably maybe saw like 1 or 2 patterns in Argos for it to matter. In Argos, there are 3 seasons in Gate 3, and depending on the season, determine the mechanic. So that is what's going on here in Brel. Some the analogies are over here. There is a day phase, a rain season, and a night season. Okay, and you know the mechs are here essentially. Okay. So what ends up occurring is that there is a red cube, a blue cube, and a yellow cube. RBY. Okay. And depending on the color determines the mech. Okay. Something to note is that the cubes actually kind of do have a cycle to their colors. I don't know if it's like this. Okay. But occasionally the colors will, you know, swap from color to color. But when we're looking at the cheat sheet, there is a mech happening at 170, a mech happening at 120, a mech happening at 95, and a mech happening at 55, and another mech at 17. Yeah.
In between 170 and 120, it color changes though, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And then
I'll
95
talk about that a little later. The color swapping mechanic is not really that important. It's pretty set. Like, I would say that it generally swaps colors in between here. Even over here it swaps twice, like that. But that's not the main idea. For now, let's focus on the fact that there are 2 kinds of mechs. There are the stagger mechs that happening at 95 and like, I don't know why this is 17, it's like 20. I think I was going off the cheat sheet, but this is 20. So there's a stagger mech happening at 95 and 20, okay? And then there's a cube mech happening at, you know, these intervals, okay? So, again, depending on what color the cube is at that time, will determine the mechanic you have to do, okay? And we'll start with the red cube. So for the red cube, we're gonna use our map here. So red cube, and again, this could be any of these patterns. 120, 55. So for the red cube, what's going to happen is that it's a series of stagger checks, okay? But let's say the front is over here, okay? So the front's here. It's going to create a safe zone, okay? 1 person, typically guys who don't have much stagger or supports without battle point hit, 1 person should go into the safe zone, okay? We'll use blue, I guess. Okay. And the stagger bar is going to pop up. Okay. What's going to happen is that the cube is going to zap the guy in the safe zone, and they're protected because they're in a safe zone. And if someone touches the, if someone's in front of the cube and they happen to intercept the laser, they're dead and they wipe the raid. Okay. Only the people who are in the safe zone are okay. And the way it works is one person goes in and then fires the laser, stagger check appears. On completion of a stagger check, an orb is going to spawn somewhere. So let's pretend we're all here, okay? It could be something like this. 1, 2, 3, 7 people up. 7 people out, 1 person inside. An orb is going to spawn in, and if you're the closest one to the orb, you should try to get the orb and then hop into the safe zone. Okay? Now, there's exceptions to this. For example, if you're Gunlancer, or you're a class with heavy stagger, you should try to not do this. Okay? Because you provide a lot of stagger for the group, right? Generally speaking, if you're going to toss whirlwind, do not toss it on the first round, because there's 7 people up. That should be more than enough to handle the stagger check. Okay? So the way it works is 1 person is going to go in. So now we have 2 people in here. Okay? And then it's going to do it again. Okay? After successful completion of the second check, so first check, 1 person goes in. Second check, 2 people go in. And then third check, I believe 2 people go in. So it's going to be, so we have, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay? So at the end of the day, there's going to be like 6 people in here and then 2 people out. Okay? And again, these guys, if you're the last one, please do not walk in the front. Okay? Throughout the entire mechanic, do not walk into the front unless you plan on going into the safe zone. Okay, and this is the easiest mechanic, in my opinion. Okay? Questions? Okay. No questions.
Question. Sorry, I'm in the middle of the game. While the stagger is going on, is the outside safe or is there random stuff popping up?
So that kind of goes into the map geometry. So if you look at the map, there's actually all this red zone. You kind of don't want to be in here ever. Okay. There's like minor exceptions to this, but because you guys are newer players, just know that you guys should not walk into this. Okay. I'll talk about that more in a second. Yeah, in normal mode, nothing pops up. In hard mode, there's explosions that you guys have to avoid and then stagger. If you get hit by the explosion, you're probably dead unless you're Gunlancer. Or, you're stupidly overgeared. But again, hard mode at this point is like 1550. So it takes quite a bit to get up there. Yep. So yeah, you're kind of just waiting, and you're kind of just chilling and waiting for the stagger bar to show up. So as long as you're not walking in front, it's probably fine. Okay. Now there's some things that occur. For example, let's say we have, we'll just talk about a case. If for some reason we have 3 people here, 1 person here, and our boss is looking, I want to draw a cube, so we're drawing a cube. It's not even a cube, but that's besides the point.
A spider?
It's like a tetrahedron. Anyway, that's besides the point. If for some reason we're doing the checks, right, and there's a safe zone here, and there's nobody here, please ping where the safe zone is. Okay? These guys might not see it because they're behind the boss. Make sense? So someone needs to grab this. If no one grabs this, it's a wipe. If you don't get the amount of people required in the safe zone in time before the next stagger check, it's a wipe. Okay. Other things, when you get into the safe zone, you become frozen. You can't do anything. However, maybe this mechanic happens at 55 and there's not 8 people alive. There's like 7 people alive. Oh, by the way, you need 6 people alive to do this mechanic minimum. If there's less than 6, it's always a wipe. Okay. But if there's 6 people, that means there's less stagger on the outside. Okay. So you become frozen once you get into safe zone, but not right away. So if you have like even like 1 or 2 spells, toss it before your character becomes frozen and can't move. Okay. This might even include the whirlwind. Okay. Because that whirlwind might be the difference between you guys wiping and doing the skate all over again. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. Remember, you probably don't need to toss for first, but maybe the other ones. Yes, you should. Okay. Right. So that's red mechanic. Okay. Blue mechanic is another set of stagger checks, but instead of it being like a group stagger check, it's in pairs. Okay. So there's going to be a cube that spawns at each of these locations on the map. Okay. So we have colors here and numbers. I think originally it was just numbers and they were all the same color. No, it was all colors, but to help people who are colorblind, they added numbers. So like, notice how this is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But now it's like green, purple. I call this red. So I think red looks better. And then blue, and then white. Okay. So the way this works out, it's actually based off your party number. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rename the parties, and by convention, it's something like this, where party 1 is green, green, white, white, and party 2 is BBRR or BBPP, right? So we're going to do RR, and if you're this one, then that corresponds to 1, okay? If you're this one, that corresponds to 2, and so on and so forth, okay? So Kaylyn would be white here, and then Trevor would be white. And then this is also reflected on the other side, okay? So like Danny, for example, would be blue, okay? All right. This is true, Kaylyn. Okay. Anyway, anyway, so if we go back to this, that means that there's going to be 2 people per. Okay. Right. A cube is going to spawn in at your respective location. You want to be next to the cube, because when you complete the stagger check for the cube, again, you might need to toss whirlwinds depending on who you're with. Okay. Okay. When you kill the cube explodes and it provides a buff, protecting you from the next attack. Okay. Now this is normal specific, but to help people aid this along, for example, this is going to be our BBRR group. Right, blue, blue, red, red, right? After you complete the stagger check, actually meet up with your other party members. Okay? So all the, blue and purple are going to meet up, and then white and green are also going to meet up. Okay? So you guys are meeting halfway. All right? What's going to happen is that one person from each pair is going to get a typing test, and the other person is going to be frozen. And your job is to do your typing test in free. Now there's some cheesing you can do. If you have some like damage over time abilities that linger around, you can cast them before people get frozen, and they'll be frozen while they'll be freed while you're doing the typing test.
I see.
For example, that could be Bard's Sound Shock, that could be Bard's Sonic Vibration, that could be like Gunslinger Spiral Tracker. Okay. Just note that what I'm telling you this now, this only works in normal. Okay. Hard mode, you must pass your tapping test to free your partner. Okay. And we're gonna talk about what to do in hard mode later, or in the future. But just note that it's go to your respective cube first. Go to your right cube. That way everyone has their partner. Complete the check, and then meet up with the rest of your party. Okay. If something fails along the way, let's say you guys mess up the stagger check, like you guys fail it, that pair is dead, and they're dead for the rest of the gate, and that could influence the rest of the mechanics. Okay, so that's your warning, I guess. Questions on blue mech? Okay, so we covered red, we covered blue, and now we have left is our yellow cube. So yellow cube. Okay, yellow cube. And again, I'm just gonna draw this because it could be any of these, okay? Our yellow cube is probably the hardest one to do, like even just figure out on your own. But effectively, we're gonna take our first position, and depending on your party, you're gonna go to one of those spots. So for example, party 1, because I labeled you as green, green, white, white, we're actually, all 4 of us are gonna meet up here, and then party 2 likewise on the other side. Alright, so that's happening. And we're gonna have 3 different roles, and that's gonna be split up amongst the party members. Okay, so there's going to be a catch, or a C, a stagger, or sorry, there's going to be a break. There's going to be a break. There's going to be a catch, and there's going to be a stagger. Okay. I just do it this way because I don't have to like type it out, but you know, break, etc. Like when I'm in pugs, I just type C and they understand. Okay. These spots get assigned before the raid, and you type them in party chat. Okay. Because no one is going to deduce normal or raid chat, so make sure you're typing party chat for the roles. And basically, in a normal group, Oko would be the one probably breaking here, so I'm just gonna like Oko would be breaking here. Support would be catching here, unless they have like vital point hit. But for purposes of the learning party, let's just leave this as support, and then there's going to be 2 staggers, so whatever's left. So I know sharpshooter generally has a lot of staggers, so they would probably do this part, and then Shadow Hunter can do this, but they can also easily do the other 2 roles if the need arises. For example, I could probably swap with Kaylyn here, and then she would be doing catch. Okay. So it would look like this, like Pally and Shadow Hunter. Okay. So on the other side, you guys are also deciding your roles. Okay. Right. So what's going to happen is that we have the break roll, catch roll, and stagger. What's going to happen is that at these locations, an orb is going to spawn, and the breaker needs to stand next to the orb and break it. Quite simple. Okay. Depending on the person who's closest will actually on break, the person who is closest will receive a buff, and they have to go to the side. Okay. Because what happens is that at the same time, there's going to be these towers that spawn in. I guess we'll draw triangles for the towers. I don't know, remember what color they look like. And these towers are going to spawn in these orbs. And if you are breaking or catching, you guys need to be on opposite sides of each other. Okay, so let's pretend this guy was catching. We'll go up here. So pretend this guy's catching, or this guy broke, so he's gonna break, and then he's gonna head off to the side. Okay, to intercept orbs, because we love orbs. What's going to happen afterwards is that we're gonna have the second person stand in between the boss, so the boss and the orb, because this orb is going to release another orb. And the person needs to catch the orb. The catcher catches the orb to form a safe spot. Okay? And this is done on both sides. Okay? After the person catches, they go to the other side of the person who broke. Okay? So person 1 is on one side, person 2 is over here, and they're dealing with the orbs on the other side. Okay? So in this example, let's just say the person who caught, or the person who broke, is now on this side. Okay? And the person who caught is now over here. Okay? So again, your goal is to intercept projectiles that these towers are firing. Okay? You do not want these projectiles to reach the safe bubble. Okay? So you don't want this to happen. Right? Okay? Now the last 2 people, you guys are just chilling to the side until the safe bubble is formed, and then you guys gonna hop in again on both sides and stagger the boss. Again, this is where you would toss whirlwinds. Okay. Now the only people who can stagger are the people who are in the bubble and they haven't caught or staggered, or haven't caught or broke. Okay. If for some reason a bubble lands inside the safe zone and someone who's staggering eats that orb, that projectile, they momentarily get like launched across the map. And then they can't contribute to the stagger. And it might also like form an explosion where it knocks the other person outside the bubble, and that will interrupt the stagger, and that's usually enough time for the mechanic to fail.
That sounds fun.
In hard mode, it's a little different. Instead of getting lost, you kind of just kill the person next to you. In either case, it's more or less a wipe. It's the same thing at the end of the day. If you fail the stagger check, it's a wipe. Okay. Yeah, this is the most complicated one. So we're gonna delete everything really quick. But again, first person break, and the person who's breaking should be standing next to the orb. Okay. Because it releases a buff to the person who's closest. So if your teammates are like here, we're chilling. But for example, let's say support is here, but person who's breaking here. When the person breaks the orb, this person's going to get the buff and this person won't. And that might influence the rolls. Okay.
How do you know where to stand? How do you know like where it's gonna spawn? Is it gonna show on the map?
Orbs always spawn at the location of the color, either green or blue. So depending on your party member,
Okay.
if you forget, party 1 is always going to go to the green orb,
Okay, I see.
and you can use the map. Like I always use the map to navigate. Okay. And then party 2 is going to go to the blue orb. Okay. P2, P1.
Question.
Yeah.
So for catching, so it's after the first person breaks it and then the orb comes out for me to catch, correct?
Yeah, so the orb will always spawn in. The orb will always will spawn at the location where the person broke, and then make its way to the boss. So you're intercepting the orb before it gets to the boss.
Okay.
And you don't want to be too far. For example, if you catch it here, it'll make the safe zone, but it'll make it over here. Okay, which could be a non-issue. Maybe you have like people who can stagger from range, right? But what if you have like melee character, right? So you want to make sure you're catching it close to the boss.
Okay.
Give
so
them space to work
basically,
with.
once the mech starts, if I'm catching, I just want to stand there, basically.
Yes, but keep in mind that
Okay.
the towers are shooting. Okay, the towers are spawned in at this point, and they might be firing. Okay, so you don't want to get hit by the projectile. You can't just like AFK there. You have to be mindful of like stuff coming in. Okay. Yeah. Common things that happen is that people aren't ready for the orb to pass or to come in, and the orb just flies by them. Okay. That it might take a second to get. It might take a pull or two to get used to the timing for that. Okay. Yeah. Other than that, questions? Okay, so those are mechanics. We can try pulling for mechanics. There's also a bunch of different attack patterns we need to go over. There is one in particular I want to touch upon, which is the red. Actually, at the boss has a HP bar, right? And we know about the buff bar. Okay. So there's two different debuffs you need to watch out for the duration of the fight. Okay, one of them that counts to 10. Okay. If this gets to 10, it's a wipe. Okay? And there are certain actions that you need to prevent this number from ticking up. Okay? For yellow cube, it is this giant wall that spawns in. Okay? If you touch the wall, this number goes up. Okay? So, how do we bypass this wall? Question mark.
Spacebar.
The answer is spacebar, and that is literally the only way to go by this wall. Okay? On a normal case, Bard is the only character that can actually give people on their party an alternative way to bypass this wall if people are paying attention. Bard Guardian Tune blocks the debuff at max like tripod. Okay, and Yuko, you should probably have that at this point. And basically, if you cast it on someone, let's say they don't have spacebar, and you cast it, they can just walk on through.
I see.
Otherwise, you must wait for your spacebar. Okay? Now, sometimes it's more important to not touch the wall, because sometimes you might want to get across because there's an attack pattern. Okay? If there's an attack pattern where you cannot dodge it, or you're like, oh, maybe I should, it's better to tank this pattern, time stop is your best friend for this gate, just like it was in Gate 3. Okay? Again, I recommend you guys progging on purple pots, because as you guys get better, you guys will need less pots. But you guys need to be able to see the patterns and be able to react to them accordingly. Okay? So bring purples, and time stops are pretty much a mandatory thing in hard mode, okay? Because the patterns are really fast. The patterns actually speed up in hard mode, and they could overlap. In normal mode, they're actually kind of slow, believe it or not. And this could be one of the gates where, as you get better, you know, you might find yourself progressing without using any pots. Okay? I'm saying it's possible because I've done it, okay? So keep that in mind. You can get to that point. So that's one buff, or one way. That's yellow cube, okay? Red cube. Shoot. Okay, so red cube. Occasionally, what you might notice is that for red cube, there is going to be lines, little yellow lines that pop out from your character, and everybody has one for the most part. Okay, and it follows your character as you move. What you want to do is first spread out from everybody. Okay, something like this is ideal. Okay, and then just keep in mind there's like 6 other people here, right? Because what's going to happen is that after the lines freeze in place, it's actually a spawn point for an orb to come in, and it's going to take the path you just created for it. Okay? Your goal, we call this a brand. We call the orb a brand, and your goal is to intercept the brand before it gets to the boss. Okay? As far as I recall, if you take more than one orb in normal mode, you die. In rehearsal, you're free to do whatever, but we're not doing rehearsal today. Yeah, your goal is to take one orb, and only one orb. You should be taking your own orb, pretty much, okay? If a brand manages to reach the boss, for whatever reason, let's say you get pushed out, or you die, or you just forget to take your orb, okay? This counter goes up by 1. Okay, and this counter will go up for the duration of the raid. Okay, now the blue mechanic, the blue mechanic that will make this number go up. Occasionally, people are going to get puddles, and you must drag them out. Okay, now the best way to deal with the blue puddles is you stack with everybody. Because what happens is when the puddles like drop from your character, it's going to form a fire zone. And if someone steps in the fire zone, it'll add a stack, and it'll keep adding stacks until you leave. So it's very important to play around the puddles. And also just, if you can, try to group with everybody. You know, best case is if all 8 people stack together, but that might not be possible. But try to stack, because the flail could become quickly covered with fire, and that limits our options to play around. And, you know, with all the other attack patterns, you might get pushed into the fire, whether you mean to or not. Okay. This is probably the easiest way to get a wipe in this gate, is like the blue fire, and just being mindful, hey, I shouldn't step into the fire. Okay. The fires do eventually go away, but it does take a long time. Okay. Questions on any of the branding mechs?
Is like the fire, like the puddles, is that the like the red circle things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we talked about one way of wiping the raid. Now the other way is you just dying yourself. Now, earlier I discussed how you shouldn't walk into these red zones. Okay. When you walk into the red zone, you get something called an encroachment stack, and that counts upwards. Every time you get an encroachment stack, you take more damage from just in general. Okay. You can see the counter down here, and words will pop up whenever you get encroachment stack. Now, usually for most classes, if you get to ×8, you're dead. Okay. You're allowed to go past this, but more likely than not, if you get like ×8, ×7, you're probably dead. And that happens whenever you get pushed outside of the normal playing zone. You know. Again, be mindful that yellow patterns, you should use an ability to not get pushed. Okay, so you always want to be playing, again, close to the boss whenever you can. And, you know, slowly digesting all these patterns that you have to learn, okay? There is a stagger check. We talked about the stagger, we talked about the cube mechanics, but there's also the stagger check mechanics that happens at 95 and 20. Essentially, it's just the cube has some extra attack patterns, some newer attack patterns that he wants to introduce. And we have to stagger the big purple bar above him before time runs out. And that's usually 60 seconds to completely stagger as a group. If we fail this check, we wipe. Okay. Now, we use Sidereal, Anana, or Wei during this time. For example, let's say the stack counter is at like 5. Usually people will Anana here, because this will actually cleanse the stacks off the boss, like the branding stacks. And it'll also remove the stacks of encroachment down here. Okay? It doesn't mean you just tank every pattern, because Anana does give DR, it does give you push immunity. You should still learn the attacks, because you want Anana to last for as long as possible. Okay? But that's one way to deal with it. In a more skilled group, let's pretend this is at 0, because it's very likely you can dodge from 170 to 95 once you get good enough. Okay? At 0, you instead use Wei just to hurry this check along. And maybe people will do it at the start. I like to do it towards the middle, maybe even like towards here. Just so that way extra damage can funnel into the HP bar. Because he is DR during this time, but you should be focusing on staggering. Okay? Again, this is where you toss your whirlwinds. Okay? And this will happen again at 20 bars. Okay, no questions, we can pull. Okay. Just things to note. I probably have to go for Premiere in like an hour. So, I'll play Premiere. It'll probably take like 2 to 3 hours, and then we can come back after. Sorry, I need to check something. Alright, knowing what we know, it is now blue. You can clearly see the cube is blue, right guys? Okay. Avoid all the red. And the first mechanic is at 170, and you must note down your positions, okay? If you forget your position, it is labeled on the party name. Technically this is a memory pattern, but it's slow enough to where you should be able to react to it.
Yeah, hard mode, that shit moves.
Yep, but it is actually the same pattern, it's just faster. So if you take the time to learn them now, it'll be better later. This is the puddle. Take your puddles out and try to stack with the rest of the team.
Oh.
Oh,
And remember,
I jumped here already.
if you jump, you should wait until the puddles spawn before leaving. Oh, have fun. See ya, Danny.
I saw it and I was like, oh no.
If you get stuck, you must ping yourself. Okay, guys? Remember, purple bar, ping yourself. Being trapped is like a very common thing in this game. Oh, and then mechanic. Get to your spot. And stagger. Oh, goodbye, Opko. I have too much stagger.
Wait.
And then group up with your party members.
At the wrong spot, Danny.
Yeah.
Supposed to
I'm
save
dead,
me.
Kaylyn.
So
Goodbye.
I died
I'm
because I didn't
sorry,
damage it at
Kuzi.
all.
You died because you were too far away from the cube when I finished the stagger check.
I was too far away. Okay.
Yeah, when you finish staggering, you should be next to the cube. You start?
So you'd posture for 170, gosh.
Yeah, you should be getting ready. You should be in position before the mech happens.
Yeah.
That way. Yeah. So remember 170? 170 first mech. Okay. And you should be noting your color. And you should be looking at the map to determine where you need to play. You should be playing, generally speaking, on the half that you need to be on before the mech starts. That way you just have to walk a shorter distance. Like, you shouldn't have to walk across the entire map just to get to where you need to go. That's under the I need to position better tab. Remember, after doing your stagger check, we get to practice it again. So after doing your stagger check, get to your other party. Meet your other party members halfway. This is alternating safe spots. Okay, so wherever there wasn't a cube before, it's safe. This is just walk around, and no joke, this is very hard on hard mode, okay? If you need to, time stop. Okay? Don't ego it. Until you learn how to dodge. Or maybe you should ego it and try to dodge. Stack together. And now you wait for the red square and then you leave. Grab an orb. If you don't have an orb, do not go to where anyone else is. Everybody's trapped. Oh my goodness. Oh no, Oko. Free this person.
Thank you.
So since my orb was on the fire, I should have just held that, right? I just don't go in.
Yeah, you do not
get
go
trapped.
in.
Okay.
Yeah. Because usually people will free you, but in that case, everyone is kind of already.
Oh god.
So yeah, Danny, you should be noting where the fire is, and not playing toward that side.
And does the fire ever go away?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it just went. Away.
It'll go away during the mech.
Yeah.
Ah, good adjustment, Danny. Although I think you killed Usa.
I'm sorry.
Dodge out, dodge out.
Oh no, did I? Oh, okay, Sheila.
Alright, restart. Oh, and round 9 sucks because of all the fire. Okay, let's talk about that pattern because we saw it twice already. I didn't think we would get it as frequently. Okay, for example, let's take a look at this thing. Okay, what's going to happen is occasionally, what happens is the boss will shoot out. Second. Okay, so this is a blue cube attack pattern, random attack pattern. Okay. Please. Okay. Blue cube attack pattern. What happens occasionally? This guy spawns 8 orbs that are equally distant from each other. 6, 7, roughly in this orientation. Okay. What should happen is that each person gets an orb. Okay, but that's not always the case. Okay, as you guys can see, perfect case is everyone has an orb. Okay, sure. What happens is that this protects you from the next attack. So what happens is the boss will shoot out a blue attack, and if you do not have a shield provided by this orb, you get frozen. And that's not really a big deal. And the attack happens twice. So the first one, you need to survive by having an orb. The second one, you need to survive by dodging. Okay. Now, if for some reason you cannot get an orb because it's like in the fire, or you know, there's 2 people here and someone beat you to it, and you're sad, What you need to do is, first step is walk towards the boss if you do not have an orb. Okay? And get away from anyone who does have an orb. When you get scanned, it makes like a big AoE around you, and if the person is... let's pretend this person has an orb. Okay, so this has H for has. Okay, so if you get scanned, you create like an AoE effect, and you will actually pass on to this person, so both of you will get trapped, even if this guy has an orb. Okay, so number one, split up. Okay, split up from the people who have orbs. If you are one who doesn't have an orb, try to stack with someone who does, or who doesn't. Okay, so for example, you know, this person and this person doesn't have an orb, you guys should try to stack next to each other. Why? Because both of you guys will have the purple meter, and you guys can both be freed at the same time, as opposed to being freed individually or separately. Okay. People who have orbs, people who manage to get a safe orb, focus on yourself first. Dodge out first. And make sure you don't get caught by the patterns. Okay. That's like the airplane analogy where you kind of like put a mask on for yourself before helping others. Okay. There are other things you could do. For example, if you're not taking Woe and Grenade, you would take Flame. And this may be like, if you want to be the savior in the group, you would take Flame, like instead of Whirlwind. But not everyone takes Flame. Usually you would call it out, like I'll have Flame just in case. Because what's going to happen is that Flame is a multi-hit skill, and actually we do introduce this in Vulcan, but we didn't really see it that often. Again, if you have purple meter, you would toss Flame, or if you don't have, you see someone with purple, you would toss Flame. Otherwise, you would try to send a multi-hit skill at them, and then continue on your way. For Bard, it's like the easiest thing in the world because you can just toss a Sound Shock, and that'll be enough to free them on their own, on that skill's own. Okay. Questions regarding this attack pattern? Okay, remember, if we had to prioritize getting an orb versus standing in the fire, we don't want that. So just, you know, accept that you're gonna get freed. Okay. Now, ideally, when you choose to stand in a spot, don't try to position yourself in a way where you're frozen and where the boss is looking front. Okay. The cube does have front and back attack indicators. If you choose to freeze yourself in front of the boss where they're looking forwards, you're more likely to die, because normally if you're like over here, the boss needs to rotate and then it'll fire a laser, as opposed to just firing a laser right away. Does that make sense? Okay. But yeah, keep yourself on the inner track, on the inner circle if you are unable to get to an orb, because it's shorter distance to travel to reach you. Okay. That's that attack pattern. Okay. No questions, keep going. We're probably not going to get blue again, but if we do, that would be nice. And remember, you should be noting your position before the mech occurs, that way you can be there. And that way you don't have to cluster yourself trying to get to where you need to be.
Shoulders and helmet are red.
Okay, today we are starting with red cube, right? This is red, you see this? What are we looking out for? The Descoludo lasers that have the brand, okay? Just dodge out. This is like alternating, kind of. These are the lasers spread out from everybody. And be careful of the explosions, you might get knocked out. Collect your orb and then come back in. As you guys get better, you guys will probably feel more compelled to agree. That's cool, but that's only when you get better. Now you have... This is the dodging pattern, but if you have the purple lines, take them to the edge of the map first. And then they'll lock in place. And then we have more brands. Oh, my mouse is acting up now. Remember, collect your brand. Don't hit. This is a no-hit pattern. and dodge the red circle. Either walk with it or walk against it. Typically, you're supposed to walk into it because, you know, you're not trying to run away from it. This is puddles, but you look out. And not everybody has it. This is the first mech. Oh, I'm gonna stand inside. You guys see the mech. Do not walk in front of the boss. And then you stagger. Pick up the yellow orb and then get to the safe zone. Do not walk. Oko, no. Then stagger again. Remember, one person per orb and then get to the safe zone. If you do not have the bubble, you continue staggering. Good ping, Yuko. And then the last two people, you're chilling. Oh, Akusa died somewhere. And that's the mech. Okay, red mech, easiest. Alright, keep playing. We're gonna get transition mech soon, I believe at 160 or 165. Little lasers, but you can kind of ignore this because we're going to transition. Okay. Yellow mech, get close to the cube and dodge. It's DR'd, but just dodge. Yep. And be careful because a wall is going to spawn. Do not touch the wall. If you want to cross, remember you have the spacebar. Unless you see Guardian Team pop up, and they usually have the skill equipped. So we're not going to get yellow mech, we're probably going to get blue instead. These are puddles. Keep walking. Not everybody has them. Alright, this is just dodge, and you pray that you have like a tanky character next to you to tank for you. Okay, and then you... technically boss is not DR'd, so you can still damage. Don't hit. Maybe I should have Trevor hit once to see what you guys need to do. Alright, we're gonna keep pushing. Also something up again.
Oh my god.
There. Pause the red. Now you want to ping the safe spot so that people know where to go. Avoid this, of course. Keep pushing back. Other side safe, Free them. Oh, whoops. Goodbye, Oko.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so Oko actually did the best thing. If you cannot make it to the other side, just stand next to the wall. That way people can free you. Okay, because your abilities do pass through the wall, it's just not you.
Oh, my sword. My weapon. Good.
Your weapon's red?
Yeah, it's...
Okay. Going for now. Transition mech into blue. Okay, and then you want to stand like edges of the cube. And then, yeah. I forgot to go over transition mechanics, but we'll go over after while we are repairing. Alright, so I'm going to push the blue mechanic. Get to your spot that you need to go to. Okay, push immune this. And then get to your cube. Remember, kill your cube and make it to the safe zone. I could be wrong, but I think Danny should be able to solo stagger. Question mark?
Broken leg.
I don't know if that affects it, to be honest.
Does that affect it?
No idea. Get your orb. Get your orb. If you don't have an orb, you ping yourself and you get close to the cube, okay? Dodge this second part. Ping yourself if you get trapped. Don't hit. Actually, hit. Hit. Trevor, hit. And then... Okay, we didn't get it in time. Basically, it's a stagger, like a stagger don't hit. So if you do enough stagger, he's gonna push you back. If you know it's coming, you can spacebar it to stay inside and not get pushed. Otherwise, push him unit, etc. These are puddles, take them out. And then dodge out. Dodge, and remember, do not get pushed into the fire. Better to time stop. Okay. Push immune now. Push immune or using a skill. Usually that's good enough. Okay, I want to keep pushing till 95, just so you guys can see it. Alright, stack the puddles. As you guys can see, right? The fire is persisting. This is like alternating if you want to keep like walking in the same direction. Like alternate slices are safe. Or subsequent slices. Oh. Keep pushing, keep pushing. We're crying because we got fire again. But the first fire goes away, so now I know how long it takes for that to happen. Good ping. Oh, see ya, Yuka.
No.
Alright, transition into stagger check. Okay. What you guys are looking out for is the purple bar at the top. This is where you would toss all your stagger. And actually, just focus on looking at these patterns now, because we're probably not meeting the check. Okay? I mean, you can practice hitting, but I want you guys to see the patterns. They're like little upgraded versions of the ones you saw before. And we have 30 more seconds of this. Again, these purple lines, bring them to the edge of the map like this. And then dodge. And you would probably need to time stop this pattern here. And then you push me in once this finishes. And this is what it looks like when you fail the stagger check. These are puddles, but they have like a combination of puddles. Flat.
Oh shit. Good night.
Alright, let's hop on out and repair. Peace. Alright, I'm gonna be right back.
Coding gameplay.
All right. Where the combos? All right, how are we hanging in there, guys? It's been 3 hours.
Yep.
Okay. All right, you guys will get your breaks soon. Okay, so red puddles, what is red puddles? Red puddles are, point out
You're not.
Vicus? I'm not, yeah, I'm just gonna type it. So red puddles is a point out, like we do for Vicus. Blue puddles, equals, boxes, which you could stack. This is not the fire puddles, this is the, we didn't see it yet, so when we do. Yellow puddles, keep walking. Or take out. Keep walking. Okay. What's there? So goes 4 probably. All right, these are the parties. So far we saw the red puddles and we saw the yellow puddles. You want to keep walking for the yellow puddles because it makes 2 explosions. Okay. Do I need to touch upon the dodging mech with the lasers and stuff?
Like the blue laser where you grab an orb?
No.
Oh.
It's like the purple one where there's like stuff falling from the sky as well as the orbs traveling across the map.
Yeah, yeah. And then you said the laser you just take out to the edge of the map.
Yeah, so you want to aim it so it's... Because what's going to happen is that just like with the Descaluda, it spawns an orb. The purple lasers spawn like 5 purple orbs. And those do like damage and they also like knock you up and stuff. So you want to try to aim it... Yeah, so you want to try aiming it like out... Not necessarily outside the map, but like... You want to walk around the edge of the map. And then come back in. If you can. Okay, that's the pattern where if you have to time stop, you should. Or if you find yourself that you might get hit, you should time stop. Because that will just kill you flat out in hard mode. If not already now. Okay. So occasionally I will ask how many stacks we have, just to see how we're progressing on like dodging patterns and stuff. What I'm asking for is the stacks of encroachment above your mana bar. Okay. So I'd be like, Yuko, stacks, have you been dodging? And then it's just
Maybe
gonna be
like
like, yes.
7, I'm gonna die.
Also with the blue fire puddles, there's actually quite a bit of amount of time to actually just try to run over to the next person or run over to the group. Okay, we got first mech, or is yellow. Okay. I don't know if Artist Cleanse or Sulphus Cleanse could cleanse like you being stunned. Oh, Kaylyn's flying. Guys go here, or maybe like here is safe too, probably. First mech is at 170 bars, keep that in mind, 170. And this is the yellow mech that we talked about. You want to spacebar now or use a skill. First mech happening out in 2 bars. You should be playing on the side where you need to go. Position yourself, position yourself. Not for damage, but for mech. First mech. Oh, go break. Oh. Okay, whatever. This works, kind of. Oh.
I am so lost.
So again, role assignments. Type in party chat, please. Oko, you are break. So you have to break the orb once it spawns in. Okay. And then I'm also C.
So there was supposed to be a yellow ball flying towards the boss.
Yes.
And then I'm supposed to tank the purple balls flying everywhere.
Yes.
After catching.
After catching
But
them.
only on one side. You're not like running to the other side. Actually,
Okay.
if you have, okay, so I talked about how for yellow mech, if you're breaking or catching, you get a buff. If you yourself walk into the safe zone, you end up like pushing everybody out. Okay, that's also bad. So do not touch the safe zone. You're only touching the orbs. And yeah, Kaylyn, you're stagger, but you don't want to be in the orb's path until I catch it. Or you want to stay out away from the path of the orb until I make the bubble. Okay. And you guys have to start that in party chat. Just get used to swapping. Use /P. /P for party, /A for raid, /S for normal. But we don't know what normal chat is here. Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, I should rename parties. And by the way, I'm not doing this because it's our first clear, but you know, that's like standard party names. I could just as easily make it like this, and you should be expected to know where to go. Look at party 1, right? Or I could do something like this, right? I've had one other like pug group that actually did party names like that, and I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, let's go. I was like, there's actually someone else that does this. Crazy. Alright. Danny, what color is the cube?
It's red.
Let's go. Bring the lines out. And be sad if you cannot take them out in time. And separate for brands. Collect your medicine first. Dodge the pattern, make sure you don't get knocked. You actually have a lot of time to collect your brand, but you should be prioritizing it. Shimian. Or ability. Brands. Now, typically on like reclear groups, do not see brands twice before the mech. You can space bar the explosion as well. This is avoid the blue, and it has like a little memory pattern toward it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's a memory sequence.
Oh,
I live!
Oh my god, is that the Yuko heavy armor? And then
Yes,
Danny's in
it
position
is.
for the mech. Oh my god, Trevor's in position for the mech. Oh my god. Stagger, stagger. Trevor just knew. I'm grabbing it, I'm grabbing it. Stay away from the, stay away. No, come by us, no, you didn't get it. Stagger.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, sometimes it spawns in on you. It's okay, it
Yeah.
happens. You can just toss your whirlwind and be on it, be on your way. And that's it. Stay away from the front. And that's red mech done. Crazy that we did this. Yeah. So the whirlwind is typically more of like a, if your group has like low stagger, you guys wouldn't be able to identify that yet, probably.
I got scared.
Otherwise, you
I was
toss it
I'm
like,
gonna just-
yeah. I mean, it's okay to stagger. No one's gonna say like, no, don't toss it.
Yeah.
Because if everybody's alive, it should normally always be the case where you don't have to toss the whirlwind. Okay. Transition mech. Oh, I forgot to cover that. Anyway, it's blue. Get to the edges of the map. Edge of the map. Okay, and do stuff. There's a little bit more nuance to it, but I'll go over that later. Just dodge for now. Technically not DR'd, you know, if you are skilled enough. Don't hit.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Actually, whatever. Next, Trevor, next time that shows, can you hit? I want them to see what it looks like. One second. Danny, can you say something?
What's up?
Okay, thanks. Alright, I was not looking at my screen for a second. Grab an orb. Ping yourself before you get trapped, that also helps too, you know?
Well, fuck.
Oh. Yeah, so if you're next to someone who's trapped, it's gonna splash. Goodbye. Cause, no! And technically speaking, if you want to prioritize freeing someone, you should be the person who's trapped in front, like in front of the cube, okay? Now technically speaking, if you guys, Danny, if you look at yourself, right? Your partner's dead, but Yuko's partner is also dead. So if you guys had the blue mech, you guys would try to group together. I'm gonna tell you the blue mech is not gonna happen. It's gonna transition at 130. Yeah. Or 135. And this transition mech is just get close and dodge. And don't play on the outside, play towards the cube, okay? There's a reason why I'm telling you this. And it's for hard mode. We're just gonna keep going. I would just want to see you guys at least start the thing, okay? So Danny, you're going to break, and Yuko's gonna catch. And that's it, okay? My side is just gonna do the mech properly, okay? Keep walking, puddles, walk, take him out, and keep walking. And not everybody has the puddle, so just pay attention to yourself. Okay. So that's what happens when someone hits. Oh, I actually died. You can like push immune yourself. You can also
Oh my god, thank you.
No problem.
okay. Oko, you have 2 jobs, okay? You're gonna break
Oh.
at 120. You're gonna break your orb, and then you're gonna catch. Get to where you need to be to catch, and then hop out, and then just try to block everything.
Oh.
Do not walk into the yellow. Oh, yeah. If you do that, you end up pushing everybody.
Oh shit, I took the... I'm sorry, I took your orb.
You were supposed to do that.
So that's the quote unquote adjustment you would need to make if someone died. I don't know.
So you did fine.
No, I took your
Okay.
buff. I took your buff. That's the problem. I was too close. I got
Oh.
bounced towards the front.
Oko.
I
Oko.
Okay.
Okay. So you did. So if you're on the right side, Oko, you did everything correctly for a good adjustment. So, the idea is if the catcher dies, the one who's breaking takes both rolls. Okay, because that way they can get the buff, and that way you maximize the chances of the stagger check being completed. Okay, you still fail the stagger check because other side died, but that's the correct thing to do with 2 people.
So,
Yeah.
so like when I pushed everyone out, like
That was bad.
because I caught and I left the circle.
You left the circle and then you re-entered it. Bad.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to enter the circle once you
So
catch.
If you,
Or-
if you
or
create
you
the
don't-
circle.
If you
don't go
create the
back in.
stagger or you break the initial orb, don't walk into the circle, the safe
Okay,
zone.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Alright. Because if you walk in with the buff, you push everybody. And I guess technically if... I don't even know if you can push immune that. I haven't even tried that. Yeah, you want to try to tanking all the balls before they reach Trevor Kaylyn.
지독하군. 저것이 이 더러운 악몽의 근원인가?
대체 저 끔찍한 것으로 무엇을 하려는 것인지.
Alright, this might flip a little bit. Sometimes it does that. And just take note how the explosion was like a triangle, okay?
Yeah.
So if you're closer to the boss, you'll probably be able to avoid this alternating slices. This plus also like memory. And there's a couple different memory patterns. Also, we're dealing with the blue mech. How to stack puddles.
Shit.
Oh, see ya.
Oh,
Lost it
shit.
off again.
Sorry, guys.
Alright, take note, it's blue mech, which means
We need to go to our spot.
Oh, go too far. You barely made it, okay? Did you see that little thing that popped up?
Yeah.
Okay. Dodge the lasers, these are one shot. These will one shot you. Transition mech at, I believe, 165. Until then, if you cannot get an orb, ping yourself. Okay. Danny.
Thank you.
Oh, someone hit. I actually couldn't tell who did that. So you're lucky.
I think it was me.
It could have been someone's like ability that persisted. This is true. These lasers are actually on somebody, so they will follow somebody. Okay. Keep that in mind. We try to ping where to go if you know everyone's together. Wait till the red square pops up and then you move out. Now try dodging with Nineveh in your face. Transition. Red, go to the corners of the cube. And then it happens again. Push now. Careful explosion. France. So that's the memory pattern.
I'm the dog.
Oh, goodbye, Yuko. I saw you went flying. Get your brand. Oh, go. It's okay.
I miss.
You will forever be known as the one who gave him 1 stack. And, 1 stack and 5% attack power. Oh, goodbye, Danny. Yellow?
Scary.
Get close to the boss, close to the boss, close to the boss. And dodge, okay? I believe that was 2, 2, 2, 3, or 1, 1, 2, 2, I think? Yeah, 1, 2, 2. So when I say 1, 2, 2, let's pretend that there's like 3 rings to the pattern. And that would be the safe spots. These are keep walking, puddles keep walking. And then mech. Oko break, mech. So if you take too long, all these orbs are gonna spawn. I'm kinda sad. Okay. I don't, what was your roll, Danny? Because you were dead.
I was staggered.
You're a stagger?
Okay.
Okay.
Yuko.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, that safe space, you gotta create it next to the cube, right?
Gotcha, gotcha. I was too far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was something I wanted to talk about. Oh, okay. Transition mechs. 1 second. Transition mechs. Okay. Okay. So there's 3 transition mechs, and basically it just meaning we're transitioning to this color of the cube, okay? The red cube, handy dandy map here. Okay, so let's pretend we have the red cube. Okay, so red cube like this. So on the red cube, red transition mech, like it's becoming red, the cube is going to explode, okay? And the safe spots are at the corners, okay? So it makes like this pattern, I guess. Something like this, where these spots are safe because they're being like emitted from the corner of the cube, okay? So I'm gonna say corners, or I'm gonna say red transition mech, corners, okay? And then you want to be inside this imaginary slice, okay? Because that's how the safe spot is, okay? And it does the mechanic twice. So it's gonna do it once, and then it's gonna rotate. Like maybe 45 degrees, give or take. And then you want to be in the corner again. So normally that's like, let's see, you're here, and then it's gonna be like spacebar to the next zone, okay? That's the red transition mech. Okay, the blue transition mech is making use of the edges of the cube, okay? So this is our blue cube. And you want to imagine this line as being an edge, or that's the edge of the cube, and you want to reflect that on the edge of the map, okay? So it looks something like this, give or take. Let's pretend we can draw a bit better, okay? But effectively that means these are the safe spots, okay? Right? And then everything here is not safe. Okay? Now after it does the explosion, it gives everybody puddles, the red puddles. And that's how we... Oh. No, it doesn't do that in normal. In hard mode, it would give everybody red puddles. So as everybody's splitting up, you kind of look at the map and be like, oh, you know, there's 3 people here. There's 4 people here. Where do we want to stack the puddles? Let's stack it here because everybody's close enough, right? Okay. But that's a hard mode mechanic. Blue mechanic in normal is just get to the safe spot and wait for the explosion. Explodes, come back, okay? Yellow transition mechanic. Okay. That one's probably the easiest to describe, and it's actually kind of boring. It's really just what's going to happen is that towers are going to spawn in and they're going to shoot projectiles. You just need to dodge them. And I'm saying dodge this because it's hard mode related. Yeah, but for now just walk closer to the boss. Like if I pretend there's like an inner loop where you're next to the towers and then an outer loop. Just stay inner loop, okay? Okay, and then when I talked about the memory pattern, I believe that's a red cube thing, maybe. So if we pretend that there is like an inner loop, a middle loop, and an outer loop, right? There'll be times where this is not safe, or it's gonna flash a pattern. Okay, so for example, if it flashes like this, that would mean 2 is safe. Okay, I think a very common pattern is where it does, it flashes this, and then it flashes this, and then it flashes like this. Could be wrong. In which case that would be like 2 is safe, 1 is safe, and then 3 is safe. I'm probably mixing this up with something else. But just note that if I were to call it, which I probably won't because I'm too focused on other things, you would walk into the 2, like the middle loop first, and then the 1, and then whatever, okay? Questions on anything? Okay. If not, we can keep going. I probably have a couple of pulls left for now. Oh, need like 5.
지독하군. 저것이 이 더러운 악몽의 근원이야.
대체적 끔찍한
Alright.
것으로
Oko, what color is the cube?
Blue.
Okay. Yuko, when's first mech?
195? 175? One something.
170.
Oh,
The boss only
Oh,
has
God.
190 health to start.
oh, let's see. I got the 1 and the 5 part right, though.
Alright, try to stack the puddles together if we can. Alright, and then just play on the other side, like that's just good convention. Play away from the puddles. Yep, Danny, you
I'm
can't free
sorry,
him until
Anthony.
after the attack's done, okay. So remember, dodge first, wait for the pattern to finish, and then free, okay? I didn't see what happened on the other side. Usa?
I got frozen.
Alright. This is like I got frozen, smiley face. Oh, I'm dying. Let's see how you guys adjust for this. Kaylyn, go to green, okay? I can solo Stagger a cube.
Oh, it's me.
Puddles will go away
blue,
after the mech
okay.
starts. This is the alternating or subsequent sliceless. Come on, Kaylyn, do damage. Deeps, deeps. But
I'm hearing you.
damn, I do 80% with one skill, or 90%. And then you guys would try to group with everybody. Over here, guys. Does that make sense? Like, just to readjust, okay? And then Kaylyn can free us all.
Fuckers.
Alright, let's push a transition mech. And then restart. More dodging practice.
Oh my goodness.
So, Oko, you would be dead in hard mode, just saying. Not even because of, like, HP. Yellow. You'd be dead because if you get hit by one orb, you get reduced defenses. Oh, and then you just died. Goodbye. Remember, dodge, get close to the boss to dodge for yellow transition. Okay. Alright, we can restart though. The habit is so bad to teach. I don't really think so. It's the same amount of projectiles in hard mode as well. Okay. Oh, blue mech? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it might be hard to, like, unlearn that. I think they just want to maximize, you getting freed in case they messed up the typing test. You know? Like if one person just sucks. Alright. This is yellow cube, of course. Our favorite cube. If you guys couldn't tell, that was opposites. Get across, Oko. Uh-oh. Not like this, Kaylyn. But yeah, Oko, remember, you have to prioritize dodging that pattern. And if you do plan on doing that, you should be pinging yourself to let people know. The thing about Gunslinger is she's hard to learn because she has like long animations.
Jesus
And then I could
Christ.
see you on I could see you on Arcanist just like backflipping into where you can't be. Trevor break and catch, I guess. Kaylyn inside immediately. Okay. Oh. It was close actually. We could have made the stagger check.
I'm
I
so
didn't see
sorry, I
what-
went to the wrong tower.
I didn't see what happened. Yeah, so you have to just pay attention to be like, oh, where did that person go? And I'm just going on the other side.
Okay.
Okay, we're dealing with red cube. Does that make sense? It's like red-ish. Red tint. As for like good awakening timings, Rico, the dodging pattern is a good one. Oh. Two brands. If there's a case where two brands are on top of each other, like this one, do not. Kusa don't. Just ignore it, and then, yeah. That was like frame perfect too on the brands being like on the same line. So yeah, this is okay. I mean, you could technically step out. That works too, right? Purple lines, drag him out. Or towards the edge. And dodge. You should be time stopping if you think you're gonna get hit. I mean, and also technically the boss is not DR'd. But, you know, focus on dodging first. And we're dealing with red mech soon. Wait for the yellow bar and then stagger. Grab her buff, hop on in. And essentially, if you guys can clear yellow mech, that should be like the biggest hurdle for new groups. I don't remember seeing that. Probably free Trevor first. Oh, never mind. Trevor saved. But yeah, red mech is clean. Yellow, get close, get close, get close. You're just dodging the stuff sent from the tires, that's all. You don't really have to awaken this. Yuko. Just a bigger dodge pattern. Like this, you would awaken this.
Okay, gotcha.
Push next mech. Again, we were not going to get yellow because it's going to transition at 135. Other side safe. Other side safe. Prioritize getting to the other side.
Oh.
I don't know. See, like you baited your team. You baited Bias there. He was like, "I'm going to save you, bro." He was too focused on saving you that he got stunned himself. Keep in mind that we are at 4 stacks on the boss. Yuko, how's our stacks looking like?
1 stack.
1 stack? That's great. And now we have to do our blue mech, so get to the edge of the cube. Edge, 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 edge. I couldn't grab 2 in time. 2, 2, 1, I think. 2, 2, 1? So meaning 1 is like inside safe. We're gonna push the blue mech. It happens at 120. We can stack the puddles together here. And we're getting the mech soon. Play where you need to go. Alright, and then meet up with your other party members. And then you can throw like a spell tracker, Oko. You got the timing for it. You'll get the timing for it eventually. It's not super important right now. It's more like a min-max thing. Remember, if you don't have a buff, get get close to the cube and ping yourself.
Oh,
And Danny, you keep you keep trying to save him when the pattern's not done.
Man.
You're trying to help him too early again. It's okay though. Danny's too selfless right now.
Oh shit.
Good stack. Oko, try to place it further. Like, if you can't make it to the group in time, you should be just closer to the edge. It's centered around you, or it's centered around where you're standing. Alright, let's prog stagger mech. And then I probably have to go. And we'll meet up in like 3 hours, I guess. Let's aim for 10:30. We're killing it. Alright, don't hit. They haven't done yellow mech. So we need to get going. Alright, puddles, take him out and point away. So it's like everything, I guess. It's like 2 out of 3 or whatever. Oh, maybe? Oh, maybe it's a combination of what happened before. Anyway. Yeah, whirlwind here, guys.
Let me get up. No.
Wait, I thought Danny died. I'm thinking of a different pull then. Alright, transition into yellow. What do you mean we're killing now? They still didn't get yellow mech. Alright.
Oh, I couldn't.
Oh, I should have saved Nineveh. Guys, push. Push to 55. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Keep pushing. We're gonna get yellow mech.
Oh,
I'm dead. Oh.
Ah, we lost 2. Unlucky. Edges? Yuko, no, don't tank it. Robbed. Oh, she got it in time. Hey, Kusa. Good adjustment. Oh, Oko got his thing too. You still staggered Oko.
Am I good? Oh.
You're technically good, but you would still want to group up with everyone. You see how far we have to walk to get to you?
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Here. Let's get off. Okay. I gotta go, but good proc. 10:30 EST is when I want to aim. When I think I'll be back. If we want to keep going tonight. Alright. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Trevor.
Cleared